same bat channel. Peace out here. We'll see Sharif, Sean, and Neil. Bye.
Ramram's always trolling me. Welcome to the afternoon rundown, everyone, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean are locked and loaded. They're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. So make sure to join Adara and I on the How to Trade Midday Show and get into that chat and vote for your favorite ticker every day. But you got to subscribe, because it's a subscriber-only chat. Yeah, what a move up. These are the triple Qs. Great look for the NQ today. It's almost up a percentage point. Last time I looked, I think we were up 0.9, but it's been the NQ story. The ES is essentially flat. The Dow is down about 1/3%, and the Russ is down about 1/5% as well. So it really has been a tech-focused day today for the market. Yeah, Nvidia. Unsurprising there. Big move today for the microchips in general. Nvidia today, AMD and AVGO yesterday. ARM having a fantastic day too. I'm sure the guys are going to talk about it. But what's his name? Jensen Huang was at the Communicopia conference with Goldman Sachs. He was talking at around 10:20 a.m. Eastern. I don't know what he said, but the market liked it, guys.
Actually, you know what he said? I don't know what he said either.
Oh, no.
Jensen?
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, no. Oh, my chart just crashed.
No, I mean, we're in a $4 winner. You know, it is what it, Fabian is what it is, my guy. Hold on a second here. So we had bought Nvidia down here at 107 and 108 twice. And then we took our sticky note trade of the day one more time at 110. So that's where we're long. I mean, we're long on Nvidia at 110.02. 450 in the money. So yeah, I don't know what he said.
Give me a second here. Now my chart is not doing any data on it. I'm going to get to a quick, I'll get to hopefully in a quick little second here. I want this to load back up. It doesn't necessarily matter what was presented or what wasn't presented. We'll just follow the price action. I was trying to show, I'll get to ARM in a second. My ARM is the chart that's failing for me. So it is what it is, because you have a host of names going to the upside. Try to get rid of this wick and all heck broke loose. At the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily, and we talked about this in the lesson of the day. You know, when you look at that early move, there was a difference between some names and other names. The majority of chips, you can look at Broadcom, you can look at Nvidia, you can look at ARM. The majority of them, when we broke out early and had that sort of failed breakout early, some things retreated and held green, other things did not. And the things that held green, everything's up today. But the things that held green are the better and stronger stocks to be in. That's why we're mentioning in the lesson of the day, Nvidia held green and made it a good one, and then hopefully this will actually work here. Okay, thank you. My 15 on ARM is okay. ARM pulled back into previous highs and managed to still go. Now, I was out of ARM 135 because that was the level on the daily that we're looking at. It's still continuing to go higher. Broadcom, if you're, Adara was talking about this one as well. Broadcom up 5 points as well. This was able to, although it isn't coming into resistance now that I look at Broadcom, this was able to really take out some of those tops. So you've got a lot of names in the 5 to 7% range in here. The one that's going to stick out to me as we're going into the afternoon, as the market just continues to go and go, I'm a little surprised that Oracle, which was so strong for a lot of the morning yesterday, is doing the same thing where it's so strong, it pulls back and then just falls asleep. And this market's really strong for Oracle to only be up to 1%. It seems like it's running into a wall itself at $160. There's something going on here with Oracle. They're not really buying it up past that the high 150s, and it's running out of steam, the same spot a couple of days. The market turns, you can definitely identify this as somehow relatively weak. But most of the chip names are, even Intel's like up almost 1%, although that's less in the market.
Palantir is next on the list here, guys, and there was a lot to talk about with respect to Palantir this morning. Peter Thiel filing to sell up to $1 billion worth of shares. Hasn't sold anything according to yesterday's filing. Kathy Wood also selling about $4.3 million worth of Palantir as well. There was some unusual options activity as well brought to us by Benzinga, but this is the cryptic tweet, guys, that we still don't really know what this is. Apparently, it's going to be unparalleled. We don't really know what it is, but they posted this. The Palantir Twitter account or X account posted this yesterday, and we're still wondering what it is. What are your guesses?
I think it's a blue box that's opening up.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
it could have some. Well, it could be some blue chew in there, maybe.
It could be some, yeah, probably. Maybe that's what it is. Just quickly here, I know there's some talk here about this Amazon position. We're $2.50 in the money on this trade. It broke through 179. It was on our watch this whole time. Made money early until it dropped below that 177.50. Let it go down to 176, and then we just came back from our walk, man, at 1 o'clock, and I was just like, you know, we looked at our sticky note and we knew we wanted Amazon long. Broke that high right there at 179, and the rest is history. We still have a quarter on of this trade, actually, so it's been pretty good. Feeling like a 181. If we drop below that, we'll get out. Okay, so yeah, I said this earlier today. We talked about this with Justin yesterday, and that was, I actually don't need both these in, and that was that we'll probably leave Palantir alone for a minute, because yesterday it didn't really trade early the way I was hoping it would. It was way too choppy. Like, you got excited to go long there, breaking through 35. Well, didn't really work, did it, right? And then it came all the way back down, almost $1, basically $1, and then retraced back up $1. And this, meanwhile, the market was just doing its own thing. And then this made new lows down here. And then by the time the afternoon came through, it was like, okay, you had to sort of trust this bottom here at 33.50, 33.75. I guess today that would have been the easy picking there for that long. You know, again, the market looked like it wanted to crack today a lot lower, and that really sucks because to have been there on Palantir would have been a gift. So looks like now at least we have that target area for a long potential. And the market, I don't know, the market just shot up. You know, we took down that 19,000, just continue to go higher now, 19,050. Yeah, Palantir looks like it does want to take this out again, 34.80. So for me, that's the next trade. But missed opportunity today, but it wasn't on the sticky note. It was nowhere to be found. And honestly, the fact that it's only down 0.42 doesn't really excite me too much with the NASDAQ up 1%. So today we'll just pass on Palantir. We've had our fill everywhere else.
Yeah, happy to have not passed on it, because I think yesterday, like, I missed it yesterday, but the fact that it didn't do much, it gave you an inside move. And then today, it basically, while the market was breaking down, it was holding yesterday's support, which is right here at 34.70. It's 33.70, I should say. And so tried a couple times. The first time through, little scalp, and then it ended up breaking back down. Then it actually wicked the 33.70. So tried to break the bottom, recovered, retested that same 33.70, scalped to 34, and then it eventually got to the morning high where I trailed out of it. Now it's starting to break out. I agree, the 34.80 has to go. Like, you can see resistance since the addition. Well, it hasn't been added yet, but since the announcement of the addition, that gap up, and then the resistance has been at 35. So it's at the top end of the range. Probably more of a scalp trade in the afternoon off 34.40. See the 3 minutes, 3 minutes still not doing anything for me. But if it breaks down underneath 34.35, that's the trouble zone. You can see a long consolidation for Palantir at the top. I think you're going long at overhead resistance if you try it here. You probably would rather scalp it off those 30s and then have small risk and then be able to take the 20 or 30 cent range if it gives it to you, because the big move already happened. And that was yesterday's low into yesterday's close, essentially. Without the market really screaming, Palantir, might be best left alone until, again, tomorrow. Maybe it trades off that same level.
Great day for AMD yesterday and continuation today. AMD had a monster day, as you guys can see yesterday, and it was kind of on its own with AVGO as the chips really retraced today, participated with chip strength. A couple of things here. Kathy Wood adding $6.8 million worth of AMD stock. We talked about her offloading, but 4 1/3 worth of Palantir. There's also this headline. So AMD yesterday announcing they're going to hold an in-person conference called Advancing AI 2024. It's going to be live streamed on October 10th. If my memory serves me right, isn't that Robotaxi Day as well? I kind of forget, guys.
Is the day for the Robotaxis. It's easy to remember because it was supposed to be 8/8 and now it's going to be 10/10. So I think we're supposed to be talking about AMD, but I actually think Tesla needs to produce. If you put back an event, essentially push it back, I should say, with the idea that you want to get it right, you can't fumble at the goal line. Like, everyone's going to have high expectations, I think, for Tesla, and they're going to come under a lot of pressure. But as far as AMD goes, when the numbers came out at 8:30, you went right into what was like a 143 and a half. And I'll show you why I have a line there on the chart. So it's as simple as this. Let's zoom it out. There's 143 and a half, 143 and a half, essentially 143 and a half again. I was looking to break out above that level. I don't like taking pre-market at 9 o'clock, so I didn't take it. It was obviously the best time to have taken that move. It is what it is. That's the level. It broke it out. I then went for the continuation longs over key price areas. So first pullback was about 144.80. So I went long 45 into 80. That was good first time, not second time through. Then tried it on the reverse, right back into 143 and a half. That didn't work out. Actually, the only good trade for me on AMD was when it trended back into VWAP and then failed at 143 and a half. So I waited for it to break that trend line at the key resistance. That worked to about 142. I mean, as you can see, the rest is history. I think there's a chance of a double top break, not the one that you see there, but the one from the high of the day. And this is a stock which has been downward trend for a while. It's not that good. The last 3 days, I think he got room to get to 150 this week. Obviously, going into Friday, going into the end of a week, a 150 level is going to have some gravity towards it. But this is looking strong now for 2 days in a row. It needs to climb through 146 quarter or third, which is that double top. And then your 150 should be next. I want to look dip buys here on AMD. My way of approaching it was going to be looking longs over and shorts under 143 and a half. And as long as it's above, second half of that would be looking for some dips this afternoon.
All right, I didn't even look at AMD today, but the number one P&L stock here for the office today on the top side is going to be Nvidia. We're $5 in the money now on this trade. So, yeah, I mean, we've written it down here back-to-back days that we really liked that 110. Did 110 fail early? We've already talked about this. Yes, it did, and we got out of Nvidia. I don't think we never went red on it today because this break right there of 110 got us to 112 early. So, like, this is why, there's 108 on CPI, and there it goes again, right up to the upside. We lose a little bit when it comes back in. Then we buy the dip at 107.50 again at that bottom, rip that, then rip 110 again. And it's right here off the sticky note. Go find it at Trader TV, Sean. 115 all aboard. We said last week when we came in on whatever the day was. I guess we weren't. Yeah, it was Friday. The only name that we bought on Friday, and we bought it down at about 101, was Nvidia. And I keep saying, we want to buy the dips and all these tech plays. And then there today, the NASDAQ goes upside, up now 1% with the ES just up 0.2 here. As you can see, led the way through NASDAQ. So there it goes, man, just up another 6%. I mean, we're like 4%, 4.5% in the money here on this major cap name. It's just been, it's been a good day. And we'll just continue to watch out for Nvidia and see if we can't sort of keep the positive vibes here and watch this continue to climb higher. We'll watch out for Sound up next.
Yeah, Sean, there wasn't much of a headline for this today. I had to pull this back from the 5th because it had really nothing. It's up 3.5%, good look. But they did launch customization tools for their chat AI voice assistant. We know that they're also getting involved with the automotive sector. We also know that Nvidia has invested in this company. But again, no new catalyst, but up 3.5%.
I mean, the catalyst from last week, it doesn't really matter. It's just that this has a tendency to follow Nvidia on the bigger Nvidia days. Like on a normal Nvidia day, the stock probably doesn't move, to be honest with you. And then if there's anything a little bit extra, then you get this like sympathy play here. And so you're a little surprised. I saw people asking about Lucid today, and Lucid's actually moving here. But when you pull this up on a weekly chart, here's SOWN on a weekly. This looks eerily like AMC in some ways, where it's just going in and around $5 in this nice little consolidation with no big move or breakout. Like every time it breaks, it goes a little bit less, but it's got a very gentle bounce on the weekly above like the 50 period on the weekly chart. So this needs to get back above 5 and hold maybe even 550. It's very sleepy on the higher time frame, even on the lower time frame. Not really seeing much. I'd just be cautious. Like if Nvidia pulls back $1, this thing probably pulls into VWAP almost certainly if it breaks trend. But it's not doing a ton of volume. Like I'm surprised people aren't more interested in Lucid, as Lucid, like that's 11% to the upside. If you're looking for a cheap stock that's going today, I mean, I feel like this would be one. I was looking for a story on Lucid as well. I think there was something. I'll try to track it down. But yeah, SOUN's no fly zone for me.
All right. So the stop on this trade, it's $5 in the money. The stop on this trade was 50 cents. So we talked about that. We actually took this live on the show. Told Sharif about it. We'll talk about our Amazon stop as well. So right now we're going to use like this 50 period moving average. That's where we sort of got out right there once it would look like it was breaking. That was at 112. We only took 250 there. So, kind of a yawning trade on that one, just 250. But we're going to wait to see if 1420 is going to be our stopping spot there. It's the 50 period moving average. I was actually almost thinking about, let me zoom in right here. Yeah, 1410. Okay, I'm fine with it. I mean, even if we have to give it back. So let's go 114.09 to be exact. We'll put that stop in right there for Nvidia just to see. Remember, it's a monster trade to the upside. We said the same. Let's do the same thing here, but let's hold on to Amazon a little bit longer. We have a bigger piece for Amazon, but that one's right here at the quarters, 181 for the 50 period moving average. Let's give it a little bit lower into 180.75. So 180.75. Oops, see, that's how sometimes you screw up. See, I just put 108. So it's 180.74. We'll wait for. We'll give this one $1 or so worth of room back down just to see. I think this NASDAQ has more room to go, but Sound again, pass. Not another name I looked at, but I did look at the futures. SPY.
Great segue there, Sean. Yeah, there's the future. What a V-shaped recovery off the lows, breaking through the IB high. And I guess we're up 0.25% since I last reported to you. I think we were up a fifth. It still has been more of an NQ day than an ES day, certainly, but the ES holding its own here in Greensville. Obviously, this morning at 8:30 a.m., we did get this consumer price index. CPI, the headline number, coming in as expected, 2.5 versus 2.5. Likewise, with the core coming in at that 3.2, the month-over-month print also 0.2% in line with expectations. And this one, the core CPI, came a skosh higher, depending on what estimates you were looking at, 0.3 instead of the 0.2 estimate. I also want to mention that Raphael Bostic apparently I think here the investigation has determined that he breached some Fed rules with respect to trading. Obviously not market moving, guys, but just wanted to give you that tidbit.
Breach some Fed rules.
They can't, they're restricted in what they're allowed to do, but Nancy could do whatever she wants. Oh yeah. Apparently. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not here to make those laws, but the old Brecher ledge is I don't know what you call it. Like it fell and now it got built back up there. So the ledge is back on the SPY. It's above that 50 period on the daily, at least for now. It's the NASDAQ that's up like 0.9%. I mean, the SPY is only up 0.3, but it is back above the 50 period moving average. So shout out to the S&P for doing some damage. Now, as long as you can hold, it's a huge V shape. You basically have a V shape 2 days in a row with it just being a bigger one breaking out the top above that 549 and then holding the higher lows all the way through into 550. What I think is a little bit scary would be, that's not scary, scary is the wrong word, but what I'm looking at up at these tops is like what's going on here with JP Morgan. Like, does the market rebounds? I'm just looking at this bank and saying, okay, well, if it bounced yesterday and got to 206 after that big day and couldn't go anywhere, well, today it goes to 206 and stalls again. It didn't have, I don't know that it didn't have the time really, like it just consolidated for an hour. I feel like if you didn't go the first time and the market's going and you're not going the second time, this should turn into a reversal level. So, with the SPY being relatively weak, it's kind of indicating to you that it is tech that's carrying this rally. JP Morgan's trying desperately to hold on to green here after yesterday's flush. And you can see what's going on at that 206 level for JP. So it's about to break trend since VWAP, essentially. That's going to look like this. It's already kind of hugged it a couple of times. So did this little break in here, did this little failure again. And I just feel like you're consolidating under trend. A pullback into VWAP looks pretty likely here. Next available pop, I want to short it back into the top of this local high in JP Morgan. Just looking relatively weak is the wrong word, but you saw the resistance at 06 yesterday. That's what I'm getting at. When the market's breaking highs, and a stock is looking at the same high the entire time, then you know it's a pretty decent resistance level. And this was one of the weakest stocks yesterday, as the entire sector was a bit weak.
Yeah, exactly. It brought down estimates yesterday for JP Morgan. Like, it's going to be, it's easy for me to say because it's the truth, but like, this is the second biggest P&L name on the show today, TQQs. And it was just breaking this low from yesterday afternoon, and we got short real late, man. Like, we got short at 1040 right there, and we got out of the way. Like, this is short at 58.50. This is at 62.40 right now, and just whipping to the upside and continuously respecting this 50-period moving average. So, wow, just what a difference a day makes there to be disciplined enough to get out. And we didn't even get stopped out. We just sensed that the tides were turning and were able to get out of everything and switch into the long. And we were able to buy Nvidia down here. So this one, honestly, like one of the more prouder moments today, I feel like, being able to get out of that trade for still a decent amount of profit. So that's you know, just goes to show you, you got to have your stops, you got to have your reasons to get in and to get out. No aggressive journaling needed for that one, but that was a good trade. And yeah, it's just funny because the ES today is 0.19. So if you go to SPY and you look at it, this is why I tend to look. I could trade either of them. It doesn't, for me, whatever I trade, I'm just using the charts, right? So it doesn't. What this name is up here is really irrelevant. It's just a matter of, I do watch the NASDAQ, and ever since we've been doing the show, we've been watching the NASDAQ, and we talk about how the TQQs has probably been one of the number one symbol for the show. And it's just one of those things where I'm going to keep on doing it, keep on watching that instead of the SPY. But there's SOXL we've been trading. I actually lost on that today. We'll go over that one. SMH is another great tool. Here, Adair sometimes trading IWM. Sharif was looking at some VIX today and things like that. So there are lots of opportunities to trade different ETFs, and I think SPY is a great one. It's $500. So the other name that I like to look at here is SPXL. Still expensive, $144, and will move triple the S&P 500, but the lever doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if something moves double or triple. If you're going to base your decisions on charts, it makes zero difference if it's a 3 times levered instrument or not. We're not swing trading these things. We are day trading them. So
yeah, because the decay on those, that's your concern, essentially.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't really matter when I look at the TQs and I say, oh my God, this moves 3 times faster. It actually moves slower than the triple Qs, right? I mean, this is a 10-cent move in this might be a 50-cent move in the Qs. So this actually moves slower than the TQQs, than the triple Qs. So you just gotta be patient with what you're trading. Look at the 50-period moving average on the futures. Bang, bang, bang. I don't think we're gonna fail, man. That's why we're still holding. We're still $2.30 in the money on Amazon, and now we're back to $5 in the money on Nvidia. The only mistake that I've been making here is not reloading every time. But again, it's been real good. So yeah, that's that for now. Nvidia and Amazon, the only 2 names that we have. And then we'll talk about some Tesla. XOM we got out of. That was a bad trade as well.
Palantir is about to break the top. So I think we had mentioned $34.80. Hey, my Palantir chart just a couple of times, and now it's back here. $34.80. It's a local high, but if you're being a little bit more precise about it, that's why I wanted to show you guys in the chart. It's kind of like a local high, but you got 83 up here. It really needs to take that out. That said, I mean, looking for the trend, I kind of thought we'd pull back, maybe retest that 50 level and give it to 30, because that's where I trailed out. That was the previous highs. But now all of a sudden, if it doesn't break that 34.80, I want to look for the same sort of range-bound move to be made. So kind of zoomed out too far there. This 34.65, right? Like in the afternoon, kind of checked up there, closed at 76. Play the consolidation. If it fail breaks here, look for the next available dip to join the trend to the upside. I think Palantir wants 35 today. At least that's what it seems like. So let's try to get involved in it. EVO Hugs is asking about Crocs, but before we get to that, I want to throw up JPM. We just played it. Back in here. We just played it on that trend break. Came back in, looked for that short, and then it broke the higher low. So when it made the trend break, I'm going to play it back in here, and I could redraw the trend line for you. It's kind of loosely along these lines since VWAP. but it was holding trend. There's your break, short back in, give it to the local high, it comes out. If you play a retracement trade, at least for myself, if I play a trend line breakdown, I'm getting out at first resistance. The idea is that it works right away. If it doesn't work right away, you're going against the grain. And that's why over in like AMD, like you take a trend line break, it works right away. If it doesn't work right away, like this stop, like in here, this stop was right there. Like that's a very tight, like 15-cent stop. So if JPM doesn't go, you don't want to be sitting there forever. And that's the thing about a retracement trade. You're going against the grain in that moment. So you want to make sure you have a I want to have a relatively tight stop. But Palantir breaking out those highs, bit of a fail break, and going to buy the dip on said fail break.
Palantir, never heard of it. But one thing I have heard of right here is tradethepool.com. Becoming a funded trader means trading with a firm's money instead of your own. At Trade the Pool, you first complete an evaluation by hitting profit targets while managing risk. Once you pass, you get access to up to $260,000 in buying power. You keep up to a nice 80% of your profits while the firm covers the risk. It's the perfect way to trade big without risking your own funds. Ready to become a funded trader? If so, join tradethepool.com today. Please make sure to scan the QR code on your screen and check that link in our description. Get more information about tradethepool.com. So, yeah, interesting website. Go check it out, see what they have to offer, and hopefully they are a fit for you.
In the USA, right?
Yeah, exactly. In the USA, where November 5th is coming up, man, 55 days away, and we will see, what exactly is going to happen down south. And of course, we are located in lovely Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where our elections could get called. There could be one called soon. But I think we're a couple years away still from that. All right, so 115. Again, I mean, we're right back to today's high right now on Nvidia. This is
it's a relief, Fabian.
Going to be a big trade, continues to be a big trade, and let's just make it a big trade. It's up 6%, Nvidia. I'm not selling anything. I just looked. It's actually in my account that I kind of swing around with. It is my largest position now, and it's just because we wound up buying some last week. We talked about selling this name at 122.50. I'm not even going to look at the charts because that had nothing to do with it. We bought it back at 101 and change there on Friday. We were just sitting there at my daughter's game, and I was talking with this guy. I was like, wow, this market's really getting killed. And I was just asking me what to buy, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to go in right now and buy some Nvidia because I want to buy the strongest names. And there it goes right now through 115 right now. Nvidia just continues to be, so we like it. I'm not, I want to sell this back at 140. I think we could be at 140 in a couple weeks. Let's just see what winds up happening here with Nvidia and that quarter point cut coming through next Wednesday. Good for tech, hopefully anyways. We did get seasonality, of course. Everyone was beat up about September. Thought that was a little overplayed. There we go right now. It's only up 6.5% right now. And there it goes. We're also $3 in the money on Amazon up over here. And again, there it goes again. Another little reloaded spot right there. I know you were short on JP Morgan. I guess banks are probably going back up now. Bostic is speaking right here. So we've got long Palantir, Amazon, and Nvidia. Hopefully we can all make a little bit of money on these trades.
Yeah, Palantir, I heard the same thing you did. Bostic is, I don't know, I didn't hear anything significant coming out of it. We'll let you guys know if he says anything that matters. But at this point, look, you're so close to next week. They're not changing anything. I mean, they're not changing anything. You already saw it move to 20% chance left of getting that 50 basis points. So it looks like it's just gravitating towards you're going to get a single cut. So Palantir did make the high break, not the 80 break. It tried to fail that 80 break and go into this level. I was looking for it to fail the 80, pull back in. Instead, it pulls back almost nowhere and took out that actual overhead top from yesterday at that 83. That's why 84. Sometimes 80 is just a round number, and you want to look back to where the actual resistance was. And the resistance was yesterday's top. So Palantir is still trying to continue to go. I see a lot of people asking about, we've seen a few things asked about Tesla in here, and Tesla starting to get up to, what's crazy is I was tweeting this morning, it's oh man, Tesla's got this great double top level, and it obviously didn't break. But it might break this afternoon. So it's 226.5-ish on Tesla. It's about $1 away from it, but the last time Tesla's at a double top, don't at me, it didn't make the old breakout. I think it's got a much, much better chance here today to try and take out these highs. Adara?
So here's what's going on here with the Fed's boss tick. It's not comments, it's actually the results of this investigation into him by the FOMC's internal watchdog. Basically, I don't think this will impact the market, but just so you know, not speaking, just basically getting this report saying that amongst other things, Fed boss tick, who is the Atlanta Fed president, did violate some trading rules, creating the appearance of acting on confidential info, though he didn't do anything that they classified explicitly as insider trading. Other issues included apparently violating some FOMC blackout rules more than once and failing to accurately report securities in transactions and holdings in the 2021 and 2022 financial disclosure forms. So that's the update there. No comments, though, from Bostic, but just in case, because we've had that name being thrown around there, guys.
Okay. I thought he was maybe talking, but that's whatever. Like we said, they're supposed to not talk. It's like during certain periods of time, they're not supposed to be making public statements, yada, yada, yada. But the most interesting thing stock-wise that I ever heard was there was a former Fed, I don't even know the guy's name. There was a former Fed dude, and he was in his like 70s or something. And he was talking, he was being asked about his holdings. And he's like, oh yeah, I only own individual stocks. Like this is a dude who's obviously like at retirement, and he was basically all in stocks. Like, you own any ETFs? It's like, yeah, I should probably consider some ETFs, but he was in individual names. And that tells you about the buy and hold mentality in the market. And if guys like that are believing it, why people like to hold stocks in that long term. Now, Tesla, as I mentioned, was just sort of talking about this for the breakout. It is 226.5. It's not there yet, but I don't see anything that's stopping. Look, it's a level like this, double top, then again this morning. If it takes it, I do want to be long off the top of this one. And we'll see if it gets there. Like I said, it's about $1 away from it. JP hasn't broken 06 just yet, but I was on a trend break. If it breaks out the high, it's 206.25. If it fails the 206 break, I still think it's not exactly screaming to the upside the way everything else is. So if failing a high break here would be not going through that 206.25 and then looking for a reversal back through it if it wants to go. The other thing that's making a comeback is DJT. DJT's only down 12% now. Like, it's actually holding above VWAP. It's trying to break out the top. Obviously, the results of the debate last night had this one to the downside. At least the impression in the betting markets after the fact was that this one was getting pummeled. It was basically just a short off of the open. And since then, it's been trend to the upside for DJT, holding on to VWAP, trying to take out some of these tops. I think this might be a nice little play back into VWAP, kind of a squeeze type play. Although I do think in the longer run, this is headed towards that lockup expiration on the 20th. And when that happens, all bets are off. I think the downward trend is pretty much unbroken on this, but at least for the day trade, it's an SSR bounce play that's holding VWAP pretty much the entire afternoon.
I'm trying to remember where I bought some Amazon, because I bought this recently as well, but I thought it was like 165, but I don't think I bought it there. I thought I bought it on the way down, so maybe it was 175. All right, I'll double check. Yeah, just you guys in the chat there. Wait a second, I can call who it was there. Was it Oscar? I don't know who it was anyways. Oh yeah, I've also got stock on Nvidia swing. Yes, no, someone just said, am I gonna swing trade this Nvidia? I mean, it's 525 in the money. You know, that doesn't matter. It's just, we can't swing trade anything here. So we have to get out. We're on a prop floor and we trade with firm capital, and we have to get out when the market closes. So 114.57. I've already put my stop, and I'm just making sure it's the right one. Mine's at 47, but as the 50 period keeps on moving up, we might as well just keep on moving up our stop just in case it really does crash. 114.74. Let's just put that in right now to get out, and then Neil will just take $5 on it. And then right here on Amazon as well, we're also in this name, and this is one that we tweeted. We tweeted out when we took it, and we talked, I think, and we talked about this live on the midday show as well when we got into this trade. And then we went for a walk and got this iced coffee. And we came back and was like, okay, well, that's why we're out of 25, 50, 75%. And we always had a stop order in, but to see this move upside is pretty nice. So a big trade alert here for Amazon. It'll be Nvidia, the triple Qs, and Amazon, all big stocks here. For me. So that's 181.70. That stop is 181.50. My current one is 181.40. So again, let's just do the same thing again. 181. The 50-period moving average I said was 50. It's right here. Whatever. Okay, so 48s. All right, we'll do that, and then we'll take 250 if that one winds up falling down for us as well. So those are some trades. I'm not necessarily thinking about getting out of anything right now. Just looking at this, like where are we going to sort of reload some of these stocks? That's always going to be the question at the end of the day, and that's something for us to decide. Was it going to be the 200 period? That means the futures have to come back down 100 points, right? So if that comes in to 19,000, I think there could be a trade there at the 200 period and a little bit of a shelf here. So I think that would be something to go with. I am not going to go short anything today. We're already up. It's heading into the hour of power into 3 o'clock, and we're just riding these longs, man. It's going to turn out to be, and again, a pretty decent day here. Hopefully we can continue our winning streak, but I would like to get into a few more trades. We always look at second day plays, and Neil mentioned Oracle a little bit.
It's not strong anymore.
No, it's not. I mean, that was up 16% yesterday. So, I mean, this could just be, I'm actually pretty happy that it's not pulling back more than it is right now. We just bounced off the 200 period, but again, that doesn't look healthy to me to sit there and take that at 156.50. Seems like that could be a slippery slope back into 156 for sure. If this can get to 155.55, maybe a buy. But this is the difference, as Neil mentioned, and very, very correctly, we're above on everything and we're below on Oracle. So this is the recipe right now. You got a little concoction to stir up a short, and you were thinking the futures were going to fall in. This lines up. So Obi and I, again, both trying to put on, a little bit more share size. If you're going to look at this trade, I don't think we do it on Oracle today, but yesterday on Palantir, we talked about share sizing. And I know Neil talks about that as well. You have to be careful with it on a stock like Oracle going short, because it was such a huge day yesterday, and a couple stories, a couple upgrades could come out, off of that earnings report. So that's all I'd be careful with. Just make sure you have your stop, and my stop would be at 157. So it's Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Moomoo. Moomoo is shaking up the investing game with its cash sweep program, offering an incredible 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, far surpassing typical stock returns. This all-in-one app, backed by NASDAQ and the SEC, ensures your funds are safe with FDIC insurance, up to $500,000. Your cash earns interest 24/7, and you can access it anytime to reinvest when the market turns. Plus, sign up now to snag 15 free stocks and bonuses, up to $2,300 in Canada. Don't let your money sit idle. Make it work for you.
And I didn't even open that email.
So there was a question about AMD. So AMD did make the breakout, and I did try to grab it. It is what it is. It didn't really get filled. I don't think I was too aggressive enough on the order as it broke 146.5. AMD's really churning. I hate the fact that we didn't get into that break. It's close to the 150. So in the daily chart, 150, 50 period, 150 resistance, 150 psychological level. Although when you look at the 15-minute, you would wager that 149 is actually more of a key level before you even get there. Like 149 is just as much resistance as the 150. The other thing that's getting up to a top is ARM here. Let me zoom it back out. ARM all the way into 138. This is the next big level in the daily. 135 was the first, and then 138 is starting to come in, and you are seeing a bit of a pullback on ARM. It's weird. Like the market continues to go higher. Like this has had no trouble going up all day long, up 8%, but it's starting to run into this 138 level and pull back. I don't wonder if it can't just be a breakout there. Regardless, whether it's tomorrow, maybe it breaks it today, 138 looks pretty darn spicy here for a breakout trade. It's actually 138.15 or 13 or something like that on ARM. If it makes that break, it looks pretty darn good. Just might not be able to do it in here today. And Saad is saying you took your profits on this too. Yeah, this might just be a continuation tomorrow. It's already pulled back $1 off of this level. Don't wonder if it's going to have some trouble getting past it. But we are now, all right, JPM's at that actual high. Let me just go back over. So it's at that high from yesterday. Is it going to fail the breakout? That's the question for me. It needs to get back underneath the 20s. I want it back underneath that high for a fail break. I had a trend break on this one, and now it's actually testing that through that high. Want to see it fail back underneath, grab that short. I'm not going to draw another trend line. I think you really I mean, you could draw another trend, but I think it's more about the top end of this range trying to pull back. Still not completely bullish on this thing, the way that it went yesterday. And then again, late to this party, to the upside.
It's funny you mention that. I'm just getting to JP Morgan right now for the first time. We're short here at 30s. I was actually, I didn't realize you were going to mention it, but that's okay. I'm just going to look at it right here. This has just been that top. It's right here, 206.25. So I just want to see if this is a level that wants to hold or not. So, 25 cents one way or the other on this name. So that's what's going to hold. If it breaks higher through 50s, then we're going to get out. It looks like it wants to keep doing that. So, small position, but it's a position. So we'll see if it does work itself out.
Tesla's about to break.
Everything is breaking higher, man. I mean, this is why it's like I don't even realize I have this position on JP Morgan. I mean, Nvidia now $5.50 in the money, Amazon plus $3. We're sitting on like $8.50 right now in total positions in our account right now. I know you had that Palantir back into Tesla now. I like Tesla 226.
I haven't traded Tesla today yet, actually.
Yeah, 226.50 long was what I had written down here on the sticky note. So
it's that same double top,
good.
triple
So it finally breaks. Let's go. I like that trade. Yeah, go talk about it because we actually haven't looked at it. Yeah,
I mean it's a double top if you look at it. It was a double top yesterday, and then it's a double top because it was this morning's high as well. So you have it's weird. It's like a double top, if that's even a thing on Tesla. And then you go back over the third thing of Confluence, if that's even a whatever, is it's holding the 50 period today. So you're regaining the 50 period moving average on the daily, which is just underneath the 225 level. This is a break that we liked for the morning. I actually spent some of the morning with a stop order to try to go above this, and it never made the break. So we got it now. I think when you're looking at breaks late in the day, like you want that essentially to go right away. But if it holds 226, I'm still going to like it back into 226 evens. So I'm going to throw my, I thought I already did. Oh, I didn't hit enter. I'm just going to throw my stop on 226 even. The other thing, and I kept forgetting to go over this, is, this is only going green. Tesla's just going green now. Lucid wants $4. Now, I know that doesn't sound impressive when you say it in a sentence, but on the chart, it's still an impressive move for Lucid today. Again, there was just some analyst talk about their, I think they're competing with the Model Y. This morning, they basically teased like their upcoming mid-size SUV to rival the Model Y. So that's the reason, I guess, Lucid's up today. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason it's up, but that's the story I see this morning. So it just tagged $4 in here. It's trying to chew through this, but it's a nice gentle upward trend. Good look there. I think if it can hold above 4, that might be a good continuation tomorrow. But I mean, Tesla's just going green now on that breakout. I want to see it break 227. Once it gets through that, we'll look to buy some dips back into maybe the 27 level. So it took some in front of the even dollar. Now we're looking to pull back if it fails at 227, either back into the re-entry price at 50s, or we're going to be able to grab that one, stair step up at the next even dollar, which is the 27 as we speak. So Tesla already going into the upside. Sometimes you got to be patient. It spent all day trying to make this break, and it finally does it here late. Oscar saying DraftKings is up. Good luck. Thankfully, we're not betting our suicide on DraftKings because we need some miracles to start happening. But DraftKings trending up nicely. I don't know what was the reason this accelerated in the middle of the day, but good look there, Oscar. DraftKings on one today. I mean, you have a lot of stocks that are looking good. 4%, though, is a lot better than the market, and it's breaking out on the daily as well. So gambling still a thing.
Yeah, it's an addiction. All right, so right here, and there obviously there's helplines for that, and you guys can go find those out if you do have that addictive problem. Yeah, exactly, right there. Tesla, I'm glad Neil has it because, and you guys in the chat were like, yo, this is the level, boy. 226.50. So there it is. We had that written down. I couldn't live with myself without taking it. So we're in it right now, 50 cents in the money. The Amazon long has been hot fire. We should go back and look at Google 150.50. The Nvidia long at 110 is a $6 winner. I mean, this sticky note is out every single day. Go follow me at TraderTV Sean, both on Instagram and on something else, Twitter. All right, so there it is. Now backing through 227, man. Here we go again. Like, this is perfect. You take the shares because it's a level that you love. So the fact that this keeps going to the upside, we like that. We like that a lot. And why not just top off the day with another one? So there it is right there. We'll go to DJ for this one and keep going on it. It's been more and more and more. But it's only 50 cents now. I mean, I think we can get a little bit higher. We'll get something out in the teens if we're able to do that. And then why not? I mean, the next level after that we'll just leave it be for a second. The next level after that, I mean, 231. That could come into play. What time is it? 244? Yeah, maybe. 228.50. 228 for sure. I mean, I like to get them all out near the dollar mark anyways, but there it goes. Did we get that, Phil? No, we did not. So we're still in this name. Nvidia 5, Amazon 325. Remember we said we were $8.50 in the money, Neil? Now we're $9 in the money combined with all these shares. So what's up, Coffee Trader, Rivian Millionaire, and everybody else? And that obviously starting to break through now too as Palantir, as that continues to go higher through 34.90. So not that great. Glad we decided to leave that one alone today. We sort of picked our poison with all these other names, and it's not poisonous at all today. Whoa, here we go. We should maybe change this.
This just...
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to adjust this Nvidia's trail.
No, there was just... I just took another leg at the 27 here on Tesla. I was going to say, Tesla just had like a wall at 227. It did like a failed breakout at that even dollar level. And this is the thing with trading around even dollars as opposed to like the key price areas that the stock is showing you. Like you could wait for 227 because it's just, that's a round number. You want to go 01s long. But it goes to 27, then now you're pulling back into 226 half. So I want to see it hold on at 226 half. Just very quickly in the chat, Sharuz, there is a head and shoulders on NQ Daily, left shoulder, January, March 2024. So like it's not something that I'm necessarily paying as much attention to. You're looking at the daily, so I'm going to show you very quickly. And again, when you talk about chart patterns like out in the wild, as we say, yeah, it looks like you could be forming a bit of a head and shoulders setup. But to me, it's like, okay, well, is there a confirmation of a trade on the head and shoulders? Like here, like what are you doing with it? I'm assuming you're talking about like this and that, but or if you're looking at it from like this last one here, I just don't even see resistance until either 477 or if you're playing in here like this 80, like the 480, like you've got a ways away from it. Like I'm looking at the bigger, longer term picture of it. Like you've got room to either the 50 period or 480 or even like 486, and either one of those things look still pretty strong. Yeah, you're getting close to resistance, I suppose. I just don't feel like you're there just yet. That's my 2 cents on it. So wow, like it's already pulling back. Now you don't even hold a 226.50. Now can you hold on to 226 even? Because that's where my stop's underneath the 60 level or the even level here, the 6 level on Tesla. So if we can get a bounce, that's where we'll look for a reload. JP Morgan might be making a topping tail candle. I'm still looking over at that one. We do have, I believe, in just a couple of minutes, we're getting very close. We're supposed to have Ryan on. I'd love to get his thoughts on some of the small caps I didn't even look at today. Man, I hope he was on a couple of the really good ones as we saw in the midday show. But here comes that 226 level on Tesla for reload. See what happens at that even dollar. Like that 227 fail break. A lot of times if you catch a fail break, it'll get a lot of the weak hands out, and then you're able to go for the dip buy. I'll never forget, I forget what level it was on Palantir. Maybe the $30 level on Palantir. I feel like that was the one. It was one of the best. It was like it failed the 30 break, dipped, and then was a gifted VWAP for everybody that took it. Because everyone got stopped out trying to go long at 30. It just pulled right back. I believe it was like 29.70 or something like that. And then everyone and their mother on the floor was like, yeah, we're waiting for that dip buy. That was gorgeous. But those fail breaks can be great entry points on upward trending stocks as long as it holds the level of support this here 226, which it's trying to do as we speak.
Yeah, it sure is. We'll see if it can go there. We're long. We just averaged in. We're long right here, 226.30. So let's see if it wants to go up. Hopefully it does, and we will be none the.
Oh, there is no. Oh, sorry, there is no
one.
Ryan today. That's fine.
Yeah, no, he was in the calendar, so I don't know what happened there. All right, so JP Morgan, look, I'm about to get stopped out. We're going to try one more time. We did not take a big hit the first time. It'll be a hit this time. It's not that many shares, but I was thinking it wasn't going to go through that 207. Obviously, the minute it broke, and we're learning something every day, you know, obviously. The minute it broke that 50 period right there, that was a big, like, boom right there to the upside. I'm not even sure how accurate that is with this kind of a move down. So we'll just probably not trust that too much anymore. We're just short at 67. Like, I don't want to hit the panic button here by any stretch of the imagination. But that's JP Morgan. Hopefully it comes off of that 207 right now to the downside.
Do you hit that?
No. That was Fabian. Fabian's very, very excited about JP Morgan. I think he thinks it's going to go down as well. And since you just hit that, we just made 10 cents. So now JP Morgan is coming back down. Maybe hit it again. All right, so Tesla looks like it does want to break. We did get some out for flat in there at 226. Our best out is 226.27. So almost flat out there, but our best out on the top side is just 227. So hopefully that will come back into the upside now, or go back up to the upside, and we'll have to watch out for this break because the market does look like it wants to go. So yeah, there it is, a nice little top move. It's up 1.47%. That's a nice move, like no matter which way you're talking about this there today. That's a nice move to the upside there. Considering what CPI was, came in as expected. I don't think a lot of us sort of thought that that was going to be this way today. It started off quite nasty early on, and then we just really rebounded, and we're still not near that. That's 19,000 there. Our Tesla just came out. That's near 19,000 there, 19,100. So that would be a trade to watch out for here if we bounce back down. That would be where I'd like to get long. So we got stopped out a minute ago anyways. We were just too busy with JP Morgan talk there. Of our Nvidia, it just took the 50 period. So out right here, 114.75 I think it was. Yeah, so I think it was 76. Oh, it doesn't matter. Our stop was 75. So out right there right now. And then out of that trade we just made there on Tesla at 226 break. So
yeah, the break was definitely better than trying to pull back. It did bounce off 226, but it went like 26 or 27 cents and then reversed. Then could not hold on to 26. So once it broke 26, we jumped out of it. There is a short available that I like. I mean, I like JP, and it just didn't go. And I feel the problem with JP is that, yeah, it's at resistance, but when tech pulls back, then I guess JP Morgan wants to go the other way. I don't know. If that's going to be the case, it is what it is. But there was a topping tail candle there on Intel, and that's been trend up. But I know it's up pretty decently today. But let's go to the 15. It's at Wednesday's. Sorry, no, that's Tuesday's. Oh, sorry, Monday's high. Yeah, Monday's high still can't break through. As long as this is inside of the range underneath $20, any previous turning point to me is valid to look for shorts, because on the higher time frame, it's in a consolidative phase. And if it's in a consolidative phase, then highs can be respected within the context of the trend. And the trend is to the downside on this stock. So when I see a topping tail candle, I want to look for the short reversal. I don't think you get VWAP today on Intel. Like VWAP, it would actually have to go red today from up 2% to get to VWAP. But that also means it's a very steep trend to the upside with this nice topping tail candle. 1942 would be the lower high off that topping tail. 46 is the high of the day. I'm sitting on a BATS midpoint to go short. Sharuz, you were talking about, on the weekly chart you were talking about a head and shoulders. That's my bad. I thought you said the daily chart. So I was looking at the head and shoulders on the Qs a few minutes ago on the daily chart, not the weekly. That's my bad.
I think that's a perfect example, going short there on Intel and then getting out. Like,
I'm not.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
This one?
Trades,
it's
and then getting out of the way. Like you never.
I wish I had gone long, but what's crazy about it is, can we come back to the chart? I would have lost going long until if I reversed, because see what it did before it really went. Like I would have been looking for a pullback into VWAP. Okay, if I had taken it, I would have lost, but it never really bounced off of VWAP. I'm not even getting short here. Shouldn't have put in a midpoint. Should have just hit the bid. No, but it would have broken VWAP pretty heavily there, but now we're starting to get back into said downside. I'm just going to pop on the offer, see if we can't get filled here.
All right. I mean, we're now up on JP Morgan. That's how you do it. All right. Thank you to UVDA, great author. Trader, mentor, all that. This is books. This is trapdoor. What is that? Right there. That's a light bulb, and then that's a register or a candy. What is that there? Cupcake. I did. P.S. You're a hell of a trader. Thank you so much for that. We really, really appreciate. Oh, it's a slot machine. Cheap piece of cheese there. Got a little bit of a trapdoor, some books there. Never read any of those, but light bulb. There you go. There you go. And I appreciate you. My hat's off to you as well. And it's a lonely game trading, especially on this desk. But we have all of you guys out there, right? I mean, this is what prop trading is about. sharing ideas, getting different names, and giving each other, as much help and as much, congratulations and whatnot as possible. So we really thank that to everybody there for, the kind words and everything. And we're going to get some more out right now on JP Morgan here as it comes right back in. So this is now 40 cents in the money. And we're up on it. So we talked about going light right there. We finally found a spot. I don't know if it was a spot or not. I mean, the market did turn around. We just trusted that 207 a little bit. Kind of got lucky there, but this is why you trade. You have to know when to put on share size. I heard Adara talk about that earlier on in the day. It's not that her reads were bad. She was saying it was a little bit of sizing and things like that. And that's part of it, right? And that's part of the game. And, myself, Neil, and Sharif. Sharif's been trading for 4 or 5 years now. Neil, 20-something, myself, 20-something, and it's just, these are the things you got to go through. This is the game.
I started at 4 years old, for just so everybody knows.
Yeah. Neil started at 4 years old.
Well, Boxing Day, I turned 25 years old.
Right. You just got to get that dust off the sideburns there. There's so much stuff. There's like all this dust falling here.
Somebody's birthday's coming next before mine.
It's amazing where it lands. My birthday coming up. It's going to be a big one there. My kids care
Tuesday.
more about
right?
my dog's birthday.
Tuesday, right?
Yes, the birthday will be before Fed. So happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
Ooh.
You smell like a donkey and look like one too or something?
No,
happy
it's
birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Something. Okay, anyways, we'll figure it out. All right, JP Morgan, just real quick. So I'm just short this name right now. We're long Amazon. But the thing about Amazon is this 182 just held. So our stop is 181.50, so that's wrong. We got to adjust our stops, right? So we got out of Nvidia there on a stop that did trigger. We're fine. Again, we're always fine where these things trigger. Right? It doesn't really matter as long as we get out where we're supposed to get out. That's all that matters to me. Holding on to something for too long has been a problem of mine. And we just want to make sure we don't do that again. So we're always going to try to, especially when we have $3 winners, like this is $3.50 now in the money. So we got to just protect it. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at this. 181 right now, 181.89 is what I was going to do. Alexander McGillney. So we'll just go like that. We'll hit offer, enter.
Yeah, buddy.
And then go there. Yeah. Obi didn't know who Mario was, by the way. Obi did not know who Mario Lemieux.
The magnificent one?
Yes, very good as well. Yeah, he was uncertain of the sport.
I think my brother has a Lemieux rookie card, which really grinds my gears because dude's not even into sports. It was just that I was collecting cards and we're at a card show.
Yeah.
And then basically he pulled if I was buying box sets and he went to my mom's, well, if Neil's allowed to spend this much money, then do I get money to spend on cards too? And she's like, fine. And so he essentially bought two, I forget the years he bought, but one of them was whatever Lemieux's rookie year was. And then the year after that, he bought like an entire set of those 2 years. Didn't even care about hockey, nothing. Opened them, put them into plastics, and is now just he's just laughing jamming. After that. He's jamming, but it doesn't matter if you don't sell them. So in your face, Len.
But he's keeping them. He's going to be worth more money now.
And Castle is going to be the one that his son's his name is Castle.
Yeah.
Castle is going to be the one that ends up reaping the benefits of that. So in your face.
Yeah,
because,
in your face.
No, it doesn't even matter. But no, seriously. Back when cards used to be a pretty cool investment. I don't really know. Nowadays, they have to be signed.
Yeah.
It's autos. If they're not autos, then nothing ends up mattering. And
mass produced.
Just to give you an idea, remember we said let's get out of Tesla at 226. I mean, it was a good-looking breakout. Don't get me wrong. I think 10 times out of 10, a trader is going to want to take a break like this on Tesla. Like, look at the gap when you're taking out that level in what was a screaming market. But once it couldn't hold on at 26, it's already down underneath 25. As well. So I think this looks like it was a good exit strategy. I did go back over to ARM as well. And this market's starting to pull back. It's got a weird looking topping tail here where it might try to retest into that 138, puts in another lower shoulder. I guess we're talking head and shoulders. Puts in another lower shoulder. That would look a little better for a short. But man, the short has to really look good on a stock up 8%. Kind of like Intel here, there was also a trend break that I didn't really show you guys on Intel. So there's your high of the day break here. There's your dip. There you go. So since the high of the day break and the dip back into it, it then broke this trend line. First consolidations down here. And while I was saying that 42 needs to break out that lower high to get me out. So I'm at 45s or 35s, I should say, with a stop just above the 42. Wanted to get back into the 30s, and then we'll get out. C Battles likes a 24 entry. You look at that. He likes a 1924 entry. I'm sitting on the bid in front of that for a first exit point. So a lot of NYSE Urbanista. Neil has a great memory for these things. It's funny you say that. The thing about when you get older is I have a great memory for lots of things, and then like just an abysmal memory for others. And who knows? It's like a shot in the dark. Like I can tell you how many home runs and RBIs Jesse Barfield had in a random year, but then ask me what I had for lunch last week, Tuesday. Well, I had salad every single day here, but you get the idea. You don't get to choose. I can remember everything about my daughter's day, but then ask me, hey man, what did you have for dinner last week? I don't know, unless it was memorable. No idea. Telus? No.
Yeah, there's some news about Telus. We can look at Telus TU here. We had, Telus. Remember we had.
I thought you were considering moving. You remember you said?
No, I mean, I
were you joking? Oh.
No. I mean, I pay an embarrassing low amount for my phone. So, all right, so here's Telus right now. I don't know, we just heard in our ear some kind of a deal, but it doesn't look like there's anything going on. Telus is obviously a telecommunication company, similar to like an AT&T, but much, much smaller. You guys can go find it out. It hasn't had a great run, but it just made $17. We were actually here with Raheem last week. I think it was last week, Tuesday or Thursdays does he come, or Wednesdays? I don't even know.
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday, yeah, because it was NFL. So nice move up there for Telus. And I said, be careful chasing yield because it's like a 7-8% dividend. So you got to watch out for that one as well. Obi is behind us, Kling Daddy, I believe. I did see him today.
100%, he's there.
Yep, I think so. Anyways, he was there earlier. So shout out to Obi if you see him walking around in the back there. Kling Daddy. All right, Tesla X. Yep, there he is. He's right there. There he goes, Obi. He's looking at some numbers there, figuring that out. All right, let's go. I don't have much to talk about. We've already got hit on JP Morgan there. We got some more outs there in the 40s. Our best out was right ahead. I mean, we're still waiting at the 50 period. I'm still going to stop out if it gets back above 207. You know, the market is at a teetering point right now. This is not the NASDAQ. I mean, we could look over here at the ES, but it's very, very similar, both at the 50 period moving averages. NASDAQ much stronger today, but recently they look identical. So we'll just continue to trade this to the short side until it breaks that high. So again, out there for a very, very quick hit. That was 20 cents. Took a little bit short there at 50s. And then we got the mother load up here at 85, whatever it was, to the downside, or 75. And then that fill right there was a good one at 25. I mean, obviously I wish we had more. Some fills there 36, 37, and then another one at 37. So we'll wait for more downside here, hopefully coming to a stock near you. That downside move. All right, Nike is trying to move around as well, so we'll have a check here on Nike just real quick. 70. Wow, this name, and you guys know I talked about this last week, man. Yeah, Starbucks selling that at 94, 95 is going to be wrong, but selling Nike up here at 84 when we did a couple weeks ago when we talked about selling Starbucks and selling some Nike, that's going to look like a genius move right now. And again, just kind of, I mean, it's not really lucky. We did talk about why we wanted to do that, but at the end of the day, nice move down for NKE and now breaking below 78 and the 50 period, which is why it just showed up on my radar as a downside push here. So Nike red on the day against the S&P, against NASDAQ, and against the market.
Before you throw,
yeah, go ahead.
Only because this is eerie, you said Nike. The first thing that comes to mind when you say Nike is Starbucks because of the China risk and Starbucks being so strong. This just happened on Starbucks. Like it was one of the strongest stocks and just cruising. It just did a pretty decent pullback in there. So some things that are top heavy and strong are starting to give it up a little bit. I think the shorts are going to start to come in as we go to Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience is revolutionizing brain health. Our groundbreaking brain networks analytics technology is transforming care for patients with depression, dementia, anxiety, concussions, and ADHD. With 15 years of research and a wealth of brainwave data, we're set to illuminate the future of diagnostics and treatment. Pharmaceutical companies and medical practitioners, get ready. FDA 510K cleared BNA technology is here to supercharge your clinical trials and enhance patient care. Join us at Firefly Neuroscience, traded on NASDAQ as AIFF, and be part of the next big leap in neuroscience. Ignite hope one brain at a time.
Yeah, and to anybody, I mean, if you've ever had, any of the brain diseases affect your family, like, you'll know what it's like, right? I speak personally from like my grandmother. You hope that they make it work out here. And last time we pulled this one up, I was like, hey, it's got a nice little reverse head and shoulders with a higher low on AIFF. And since then, reverse head and shoulders meaning support right in here at 360, and there's your breakdown. Then you hold a higher low at 360. That actually ended up holding the last couple of days. So, it's weird. I don't usually talk about head and shoulders. And then now it's like the fourth time this afternoon that it's even come up. Sometimes you find these things in the wild, but that's just an example of a reverse one. I wanted to finish a thought on Starbucks because it's not like it's turning around at a random level. I know when you look at it here, it's like green, 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 green. What's going on? Why would it just turn? Maybe the market's at a top. No, Starbucks, when it gets to the high 90s, has been running into trouble. And if you look at the daily chart, I think it makes some sense. This was a big wall before things really fell apart. Right in and around 98 to 99. This is going to be a popular breakout. I think the play is going to be, if it makes a run at $100, to be long whatever day it is. I think you want to be long 98 or 99 instead of 100 if it makes that 100 break. So if I see this stock breaking out 99s or 98 half in there, it's kind of like that pound 230. You want to be long before it gets there. You don't want to be long as everyone and their mother's trying to get it. You want to be in the money taking profit, then you want to be buying the dip when everyone gets that top move fail on them. But that's just something that might happen next week. I feel like it's not going to happen today. So Intel pulls back into 1925. If it continues trend down, you can now sort of look at this as a bit of a trend. I'd like it to hold that trend to said downside. If it breaks it back up, I think you could be in at least a little bit of trouble. I mean, Nvidia is trying to hold itself. AMD is as well. I want to check back in on Tesla. If we're now in a power hour, man, Tesla not really doing any big bouncing here. Underneath 225 now. Yeah, it was a good thing to get out of that one. It can't even hold 225 to the north side, unfortunately, here for Tesla. So that big breakout, it gave you the move into 27 even and nothing more. Let me just check back in on Lucid. Lucid can't break the $4. If anything, this is looking a little top heavy as well. Not holding on to $4, up 12% today. But yeah, you're running into some resistance spots at 4. 420 is probably a bigger level on Lucid, though, when I zoom it out a little bit further. It's got some more room. I think 420 is the bigger level here.
Guys, we are, Amazon is really getting lifted, man. Like, this is just 182.12, 11s now. We're now 350 in the money on this trade as it just continues to go higher and higher and higher. I just put a stop down there at 182 flat. We might have to change that, man. I mean, let's just keep on trailing it higher through the 50-period moving average. So if I could put a stop order in, that would be like indicated on a study. I would use that right now for this. We did use it for Nvidia. And I'm going to give you another trade that I'm looking at right now. And I think if you guys trade with me, then you would know about this. I'm going long through here. So we just held right now. I thought I got filled somewhere there. Oh, JP Morgan's starting to go back up. So we're not, looks like we won't wind up, we'll be up on JP Morgan, but not that much. That might break out 207. So I'll call that up in a minute. I just want to talk about this trade. So again, looks like it held. We did get out of that one. That was only $5 in the money. We had 110 break. So that was 114.75. So that was a great out. I don't feel no ways about it. We're going to try to go one more time, breaking through 115.50. So if that goes back up to the upside, we're going to try it here with Nvidia breaking the high of the day, which sounds crazy, up 7%, but I think it can go. So we'll try it. Play with the best, man. And like I said, this is going to be PL1 and pretty easily too. And we actually made that call earlier, right? It was like, hey, look, man, the minute this thing splits, like I'm already irresponsibly trading this thing at $1,200. What are you going to do when it's 150 or whatever? Hopefully it gets back to 150, by the way. Okay, Amazon is now gone. It's a good thing that we don't have stop orders too aggressively on this, or we don't have take profits. If there was an area to take profit, maybe we would, but let's just keep on going higher. So we'll wait to get stopped out. I mean, I feel very, very confident in doing that as a trade. Looking over here, I mean, this is why we get, sort of the credit in the chat there for trying to hold on to things. And I mean, you got to try to do that in these markets. Maybe 183.50, what is that, 184? This level right there, yeah, 183.50 could be a level. How far are we from there? So we're not too bad. So maybe we can convince ourselves to put an offer at 183.50. Like if we can get up there, then that would be pretty darn good, I would think. Let's put this dropout zone now, though. 182.25. I mean, we're still here. We're nowhere near worrying about that one. So this is the trade that I want to talk about. JP Morgan did basically go back to flat for us. I'm going to put another fill, another bid right here, 206.55. It's not really like that great there. We'll take 20 cents if we can get it. My bid was at 206.11. Now that, like, that's when we were down here, where that was the 50 period. Now the 50 period has moved up to 206.40s. So we should probably put something there as well. I get a feeling like we may get stopped out of this trade. It's not funny to get stopped out of anything, of course. We've already sort of taken that profit. And I just laugh because we shouldn't be short anything right now, in my opinion. I mean, we are short JP Morgan, so that's kind of like, I'm not super pleased with that trade. But let's just let it settle down. Maybe it eventually goes back into the downside. Our stop on here is 207 for JP Morgan.
Yeah, sir.
Did I sell Palantir? No.
Did you sell Palantir? I was asked if I sold. I think it was Daniel was asking if I sold Palantir in the long term. I mean, I don't hold a lot of Palantir in the long term, but I've never touched it. I think I bought it one time when it was all the rage. I meant to buy that and Snowflake. I never actually got into Snowflake, which is weird because I kept looking for an entry and it just never.
It's not even at 35.
It never looked that good.
Right
I know. Well, Palantir, it's got loose resistance at the 35 level.
Yeah.
For myself, I actually don't even own it in my swing account. I actually own it in my RRSP, and I just kind of put it in there years ago, and I have not bought it or sold it or done anything with it at any time. It's Snowflake is the one that I might look for some kind of a swing. It just never really set up the way that I liked it, so I've never gotten into that swing trade on Snowflake. I talked about it for a while, and then it never looked good enough to me. Intel, we were able to get half out in front of 1925, but then we reloaded it in front of this lower high. So it broke the trend, it made the pull down, but then it held the first level of support in there at the quarters. So if it breaks out, it's no longer 42 that I like, it'll be 38 up here. If it breaks out above that, I think we just got to get out of Dodge. I'm looking over at AMD, and that's creeping back up. Might break out that 48. Tesla seems to now want that 225 again. So this is starting to look strong. One more time in here on Tesla. I kind of think if it makes another shot at that 226, probably going to fail that break again. So if there's a long back into the close on Tesla or late, I think it needs to be off the support level as opposed to that breakout price. I don't think I'd want this at those absolute highs. There was something else I wanted to look at. Oh yeah, it was at Lucid at the $4 level. So with the market making a little bit of a bounce, interestingly enough, Lucid's not going. It's just slowly creeping lower here. So what was once very strong suddenly is not going anywhere. That $4 level is turning into resistance. It's not a big size on the offer or anything. I mean, a couple 100,000 shares into a stock that's done 40 million is completely insignificant. It's more the price action at that level that's holding up. I think that can be something. If it gives you, problem there is you really need like a 98 fill or a 98 half fill to make it make any sense. Armando just said Meta made a jump. Meta's been a dog most of today. And now it's high of daybreak on Meta. Oh, wow. See, this is what Tesla was supposed to do. Hold above the breakout. Meta's actually doing it here. So congratulations, Meta. I have a line drawn at 508. I mean, I suppose it's for obvious reasons. And again, like it was a resistance level that was failing above and below, but I think you got to hold on to this top end break. Yeah, this is way stronger than that Tesla break. You got to go to the one that you were planning on taking. It's easy enough to look at it now in hindsight and say, oh man, that's the same break and it worked better on Meta than it did on Tesla. But one of those two was in the plan all day long, and the other one, congratulations to anyone that has it, kind of came out of nowhere, but this looks very strong. I think maybe buying some dips in Meta starts to make some sense here. Up 1%. This was one of the weakest names in the Mag 7 this morning. Now you're breaking out the top. I like when shorts are trapped, and they're trapped here.
I don't know what's anybody's trapped right here, but see, like most traders would be like, wow, a dollar is pretty good, right? So there's $1, there's $2, there's $3, there's $4. We're just lucky to have held this whole way on Amazon. We're getting close to that level of 183.50 that we talked about, by the way. Amazon just continues to climb higher. And I mean, look at this. I don't even, let's just let the trading speak for itself. Just continues to go upside right there. We could talk about JP Morgan here for a minute. Looks like we may get stopped out of this trade. Again, Good trading there. Looking at that Palantir level, if you are, and we trade our own accounts here, obviously, as you guys can see, if you are long a heck of a lot of Palantir, there is nothing wrong with, saying this is pretty good. This was $21 back at the beginning of May. It's now $35. This was $30 2 days ago. It's now $35. When a lot of you hopefully were starting to buy this thing, this was $7, $8, $9. It's a huge move up. And we've been really loving this name. How good of a bottom was that at 14? We added to the position here. We added to the position here and talked about every time we did it. And we've never told you we've sold any of it. So I'm just going to wait for it. But this is a good spot. We own this in all the accounts. We really like Palantir. We've liked it for a minute. When you had that, so, okay, there goes Nvidia. So now Nvidia, we're long into this one. JP Morgan still coming back down, but now the attention goes to Nvidia. Let's see if this wants to have that move into the end of the day. Our stop, we could use the 50 period. We used that before. That's at 115.10. That move goes all the way down into 90, so maybe we could do something like that. But here it goes, man. We're in another position. We're short JP Morgan, long Nvidia, into the close. Let's see how far we can go with this one. We're long at 52s. Target area, like if we get something on the high 60s, that would be nice. And then we'll just kind of let it go higher than that. And then we'll deal with it then. So yeah, we have to be risk managers. That's how we get to where we are. 115.07, that might be a good spot to get out. I could risk it the kind of day we're having. We could go down to 114.90 down there as our outer if you really want to get going. 114.80. All right, here we go. Let's see how far we can go here on Nvidia. I just hope it keeps running, man. We're at 67s to get a piece out. It just stopped at 64 or whatever. Let's see if it continues to go higher. The market's going to have to go as well. This is not
NASDAQ high day.
Yeah, exactly. NASDAQ high day. I mean, if you're trading with me, then hopefully you enjoyed your lunch, and let's give some props up. I was about to hit, it's right beside the lunch button, that's why. There it is, and again, another 15, 20 cents to go on that. So yeah, man, today today is another day. Thank you, Fabian, for that one. You don't get enough respect around here. There it is. Yeah, man, we don't have to put on the glasses. It doesn't matter. Let's just see how far Nvidia goes, as now it's pulling back in a little bit. So we got out of a little bit up there. Our best out was 67s there, as Nvidia coming back in just a little bit. But yeah, $4 on Amazon, and Nvidia pulling back right now. So we'll see what that's all about. But a couple good outs there for Nvidia. Watch out for that pull back down.
Yeah, the NASDAQ just literally wicked the high at the same time as the ES. Now, there was the break of that local high, or I don't know, what do you want to call it, like local resistance on AMD above 148, but it needs to hold on to this on the way back in here. I don't want to hate on you too much. I don't want to punch into Lucid. Like I said, I want to try and get a good price on it, but I'm still looking for a reversion play, but it's got to be something that is not making a strong move up, like the way AMD is. It's easy to look at it and say, hey, you know what? It hadn't broken out the high, but it's still an upward trending stock. So as long as it can hold on to the 147.75, we're going to give it to that. We did talk all about Tesla and thinking I wanted to get back into this one, so just pull my stop order. Tesla goes right back into that 226.5. Remember the breakout price? You can't write it like this. It goes right to that level and turns, holds underneath. So it's setting up the exact same price that was that double top breakout, the double top yesterday and the double top breakout today, and it's right back at it. I would have loved to go dip buy hunting, but this just feels like it's going to be the same level is setting up for another breakout on Tesla. Color me a little bit skeptical. I want to see how it responds to 226.5 if it breaks it. Do buyers come in there and then maybe join it as opposed to just taking this break? Because I feel like that's a trap just waiting for you on Tesla. So I'll stick with AMD here, but I do have eyeballs on Tesla. It might just be even a break of 227 again. Like if it goes through the high of the day on Tesla, that could be a bit of a play. But I don't want to be short this name at all. I'd rather be playing longs. If I short an EV names, it should be Lucid because it can't break 4, and then you only have to risk 2 or 3 cents on that move, as opposed to standing in front of the later moving freight train, which is Tesla. Hold that bid, man. I think Tesla has a good shot to continue going. I don't think you can hold that 226.50 all the way back in, but if it can reestablish, it's the price we liked in the first place, so why not?
What's up, Black Sheep Trades? We appreciate you too. So again, lot of respect being flown around here, and we appreciate that. Thank you to everybody there in the chat. Thank you to Ozan as well, saying that we went a little loco today. You think we went loco? I mean, look, these are just trades I'm giving to everybody here. Whether or not you take them, it's completely up to you. It's another 20-cent banger here on Nvidia, and yeah, the best name just gets better today. Nvidia, huge move, up 7%. There it goes. It's another one. Followed by another one. Followed by. We basically came through again with another trade for you. We already took $5 on Nvidia the first time. Neil, we have $4.50 in the money right now on Amazon as that keeps on going. And there we go. We're now out of half of our Nvidia. Nvidia just clocked up there into 70. Our best fill was 75s right there. We take it out. Now we're out of half. Now let's just let it ride. As it just keeps on going higher and higher and higher. The good trading continues, and yeah, there's not much else to it, man. We just sit here, put on the trades, and watch them trade out. 182.50. Now we can adjust this one to get out if it breaks. That's $1 lower. Are you kidding me right now? What are we even doing? Up 1.64% right now. This dropped down below 183. Let's just put that on right here, and there we go. So we will lock in $4. On this, right there on this name. Our Nvidia trading today was really on one, and I don't know, Ozan, if this is what you meant being loco on something, but long here at 108, long again at 110, up to 112. Chopped up in the middle here, but still positive on the name. Then we hit the long at 108. Then we hit the long at 110 again. Then we hit the long at 115.50. This is why. Go back to the well. Keep on going on your trades, man, and put numbers up. This is what we talk about. It's Nvidia, huge move here. Great trade. I hope you guys, some of you are on it anyways. Let's go back over to the desk with A.
This part of the show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
Yes, sir. Not a lot of news in the way of today, but certainly you want to keep your ear to the ground when there is. It's not the catalyst that we're getting. I know there was a presentation. There was actually a few presentations today. Nvidia was just one of them. The Goldman Sachs, some kind of a conference. Peloton even had one, but they didn't do anything. ARM, I said we'd look at ARM at that high. You're not breaking out above, unfortunately. So AMD, just got to reload, going to get my order back in the quarters. But ARM is failing this high of the day at that 138 level, and it's not random. It is level of resistance here on the daily chart. I feel like it needs to punch through. This might not be something it can get through here today. It's really running out of steam. It's up 8.5%, so it's done a lot of heavy lifting. This might be a bit of a reversion trade. AMD was able to get back in. It's now kind of holding 148.40 tops, 148 evens on reloads. So it's got a bit of a tight range forming in here at the high of the day. It's weird. Like, it's only up 3.5%, but at this moment, it's at the top there, or almost at that high. Still has some room to go. But ARM, which can't seem to break out that top, doesn't have any room left. It either breaks out the high, or we're in for a bit of a reversion there on ARM. Rainier Rael in the chat saying crowd was another one that was presenting. Yeah, absolutely right. I'm going to go back over to Lucid. I'm trying to pick up the offer here. It's got to be right at $4 to me. Like, if you're risking to the high, it's like 401. So I want 98.5 or 99s as a fill, so that I'd be risking right into that top. Bit of a scalp trade. We only have about 35 minutes to go till the imbalances drop. And at that point, you're usually looking for imbalance trades or get out of your trades. So standing in front of a high of the day with a couple of cents risk in front of the imbalance doesn't make any sense. Like, you want to get that trade before you can even go. So AMD is the only one reloaded into at 148. It's trying to hold. I'm trying to take the first quarter because the range has been 40 pennies. It's got a 40-cent range. You try to take inside of it till it goes.
Oh man, and this is why I'm choosing Nvidia right there. We're 40 cents in the money right now on this Nvidia trade. So let's just see. We just took a piece out at 150. We just got 40 cents right there. 115.90. We just took it out on right there again. So This has just been quite the day here. 450 in the money there, 50 cents in the money with Nvidia. I might even take more long, man, on this 116 break. Like, I don't know. This is really starting to get going here.
Do it.
It's almost like today is my birthday, right? 116 trying to go higher. We not only is this trade what it is right there, but we gave this trade to you when it was trading down here at 115. We mentioned that we would be involved in this name. And we got involved, and now we're still only have 30%. We don't have the whole load here. But I feel pretty confident trying to at least hold on to the last 30% and see what we can do. I mean, there's probably going to be a level at, yeah, so that's nothing. Small amount of shares here. This has now gone. We've sort of coined this stock when it goes meme crazy, and that's definitely what it's doing right now, just lifting all offers. And there it goes, just wiping it out as if there was nothing there. Kathy must be in there buying a whole bunch of Nvidia. The only name that we dip bought last week, NVDA. It's not like it's up the most or anything. It's just been really good the last couple of days. We had 110 written down on this sticky note multiple days now. It was nice that it finally came in today. It came in twice, and that's pretty much the reason why we're up so much on Nvidia today, and why it is going to be the #1 stock by far, obviously, especially as we consider what we're doing right now with it. There it is, another 7. Now let's just keep going. I want to put something at 20 there, see if we can make 70 cents and just keep on going. So let's just keep trucking here to the upside with Nvidia. We're now offering 19s, and there it goes up to the upside. And then not only that, we also said, where would Amazon maybe go? And Neil, we said 183.50 for just 450, and there it is right now. It's a nice move back there to the upside for Amazon. But hey, let's just keep going. Nvidia, 9 cents up, and we'll get out of another piece of this one. It's just 70 cents in the money there. So good trade over here. What's going on with your AMD?
Pretty much at the high of the day in about 10 cents or so, looking for that breakout. I'm thinking about what's next, because like we said, if we didn't get into Tesla again, which we didn't, might just take the break of the high. We're running out of time for this one, but man, I really like what Tesla's doing. It's also a red to green story. So if it breaks the high of the day, that's kind of like it's green right now, and you're getting a breakout above it. If it dips back down, I don't like the dip buy, because if it doesn't hold here, then it's red on the day. And buying a dip as it's going back into the red, I don't love. Every time I do this, I jinx it. So I just jinx the high break on Tesla. I'll quickly show you what I am in on AMD. I'll zoom it back in because you don't really need to see that far out. 148 into the 148.40. We just got able to get that range a couple of times. We'll see if it can take out the top. If it does, I want to be out in front of 149. Oh, yeah, hate you, Tesla. I really thought Tesla was about to go. It's getting late in the day. I'm going to have to cancel that order. If it doesn't make the break in the next 10 minutes or so, I feel like it's going to be nothing for Tesla. Unfortunately, nothing burger. It does set us up for tomorrow, however. Just because it's not breaking it today, it could just make something like this a little bit more glorious tomorrow. I'm just looking at that gap, and there's no chance you see a gap like this on Tesla and you don't want to participate when it's going. I'm not saying it'll go like $7 or $8 in one shot, but anybody can see what happened at 235, which was a double top in its own rights. It's actually better on the 15-minute when I show you this way. This is what everyone's looking at on this Tesla breakout potentially. You want to see it make this move. So if we can take out the high, I have a stop order to go long again. It did give you, it basically gave you a 50-cent move, and then it tried to dip back in at the even dollar. But I'm taking it out. If it goes 227, I believe 13 is the local top. It breaks that, I'm long. It'll be long like 15s to 20s or something in that regard. We'll hold AMD through a high break, but I still want this Tesla breakout. I feel like it's too good to give up on.
All right, we took 50 cents there on another 10%. It broke back down below 116 there, did Nvidia. So we took, okay, now it's going back. It just went back. It's just gonna be going back and forth there. So we'll have to watch out. We took another piece out. We only have 20% left now of this trade. And I mean, it could still go up. I don't have another offer till 116.40. So let's see if we can get, a real move here and make $1 again on this trade. So we're going to let it cook into the close. But remember, we have the imbalances. And those right now, we can have an early look. There's not going to be any NASDAQ names on here. But we have a buy on Pfizer. Pfizer was near 30, 29.50 right now. That's had a couple nice days in a row, I feel like. Or maybe not. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, 28 up to in and around 30. So Those are all buys. But when I look here, buy, sell, buy, sell, like I'm not even looking at the names, just looking here, that it looks like it's a pretty mixed board, maybe more bids than sells, but not much. Southwest here, LUV has a 1 million sell on it. Fubo is such a small price stock, that's not going to change anything. There's CIBC here in the Canadian Bank, obviously an ADR listed there on the New York Stock Exchange. We looked a little bit at T today as well, AT&T. New Bank was a monster trade. You guys text me. Some people have made so much money that day. We did well on that too. We punched long 73s and got out at O's on that imbalance day. That was wild, man. That was really wild. But yeah, so we'll wait. So 20 minutes now. We should get a little bit more of an early look here at 3:30. Let some of these update in just a couple seconds. So here we go. 3, 2, 1 now is 3:30 and absolutely nothing
happened.
So yeah, the only thing that keeps on going higher and higher and higher right now for me is Nvidia. So let's see what it does. I feel comfortable holding this into the close, and we're going to do that. Also, Amazon, our stop on Amazon, I just want to double check it, breaking through 183, which would be $4. Now it's 182.80 could be our stop, so that's fine. So we're still using 183 break. So if it breaks back down below 183, we're out of Amazon, and that might be that might be it for the day. We've done well, man. We've done well. Okay, yeah, let's go out with Adara now and find out what some of these sectors are doing today. I'm quite interested.
Go healthcare.
Markedly different look here right now than what we saw around 10:40 a.m. when we did sector watch. We're going to look less at the sectors though right now and more at some of these larger moves to the upside and downside in the S&P 500. We have Starbucks here pretty much at high of days. It's Brian Nichols' third day as the new CEO, coming to SPUX from CMG Chipotle. Yesterday announcing a strategic plan. Clearly, investors reacting positively to this one for SPUX. On the opposite side here, we have ABBV sharply to the downside. There, Humira being replaced by UNH and some of these other healthcare providers as a preferred option for insurance. So this is an interesting look here for ABBV. Last but not least, here we have American Express, AXP. This one pushing into high of days here to end the day, as we do have the CFO saying some positive notes about consumer spending and credit for Q3. Quite an interesting look here across the market, guys.
I feel like I'm more skeptical about the credit card names at those highs than some of the others. But you know what's still, and we were talking about this, well, I wasn't here yesterday, but we were talking about this before, 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, that flat bottom on Fubo. Guess what's still there? I wouldn't have looked this up except for the fact that it was a million buy imbalance, but Fubo's still holding the 160. So this could easily still flat bottom break the lows. I shouldn't say that bottom because that's redundant. But yeah, Fubo up 1%, so I guess it's having a good day. It's $1.60. When that breaks, forget about it. I think you're on a one-way ticket to, well, $1, let's just say, because stocks like that get defended at $1 the first time through almost every single time because they know they got to stay listed. That's a big deal. Stock like Fubo risks the listing, and it would be game over. So I'm going to hold through a high of the day break into 149. High of the day is 148.65 on AMD. If it does fail to get up there, I'll probably get out back through the even or the $0.50 there on AMD. So now that 148 is starting to break out through, we want to see it get to that 49 level. And there was, Tesla hasn't broken, but we still have a little bit of time. It's consolidating off the high, no break yet. I think you still got at least a few minutes in here before I'm going to pull the shoot on that because I'm never taking a high of the day breakout going into the imbalances. I feel like that's a trap almost every single time. Because the bounce comes the other way and there's so much more room to go in the other direction, unfortunately. So I do like this Tesla break. It just might not happen till tomorrow, unfortunately. But AMD's right there right now breaking the top. I'm not going to add to that one. We're just going to hold through. And there's a couple of things out here that, I think we've seen a lot of people talk about some small cap names in there. It was CNEY, I do believe.
Yeah, I saw someone put that.
Yeah, CNEY. And it's never that we're trying to ignore them. I know I had meant to talk about this. One of the reasons was it didn't really do much after the big volume candle or the big burst on a bit of it did a halt to the downside, then it held VWAP. But when I'm not ignoring this is actually a stock that I think people could have done pretty well on today. Just for the simple fact, it rinsed some people underneath $1, the aforementioned dollar. Like this is it going underneath $1, holding a bit of a trend and then breaking back out the buck. And then it's been trend up higher. What I like about it is that it's day one and it held $1. So tomorrow, that would make it obviously day two with the ability to play off the dollar again. So I know there's some small cappers that are running. Tisha was talking about this in the chat. Shout out to you. I'm pretty sure you banked on this. But that $1 hold is a good one, and Tesla just broke the high of the day. So second time we're taking a Tesla break. This time it's not the even 227. It was like 227.13 was the local high. Needs to hold on to 27. The later it is in the day, the tighter the stop on any breakout kind of trade. Not going to give this to 50 pennies. Not when it's 335, but even if it fails today, if I see it break 20 or this area tomorrow, I'd still want it. The more times it resists the same spot, the more appealing the breakout is going to be on this one.
Oh my. Right now. That's $1.
hit.
It's $1 on Nvidia right now. There it is. We just punched this long and it's just adding and adding and adding to the net here today as we continue to go climbing higher and higher here on Nvidia. I mean, Amazon's going down. Nvidia just ripped up right there. Huge move for that. Long at 10s a couple times, long there again, right there. Nice trade. We just got out we told you we were at 40s, and that's where we just were. You just saw us take that fill. We now only have 10% left. So whatevs. I actually put a stop in, and that's what before we started going ape on those stocks right there, we said that we had put a stop in. Well, I was going to anyways talk about it, and we did put it in right here. 115.73. We're long at 52s. And I was like, you know what? The last 20%, if it slips up and we come back into that area, then we will just get out of half of what we have left. But there's the half right there. So we say, thank you, come again and get it out at 40, the other side, giving us that 90-cent winner. Now we'll see if it can print even lower to get a reload into 114.50, but we're going to get out first if it breaks below that 115.75. So, yeah, you know, pinch me, wake me up when this is all over. That's what's been happening today. All we go. So thank you, Mashworth, right there all day. Neil and Sean, all day, baby. It's not kind ready. It's not that easy. This is what we talked about. Sharif actually let the cat out of the bag. 2 traders are here still in the last 2 years. The only 2 traders that are here since 2 years ago was I believe it was Brankles, he said, and himself. I think it was Sharif and Max. So
Wayne.
And Wayne, yeah, but those we're talking about traders actually on the floor. It's really just Max.
Yeah,
as we go because
Brankles and Wayne are the risk managers.
Yeah, and they get an income from managing the floor. So completely different beast altogether. All right, so there it goes. So I mean, yeah, it's not that easy, but this is why we put on the show to hopefully show you what we're doing and to give you calls to sort of help you through the way, right? And I mean, we talked about this 115.50 break and why we liked it. We took it and it just gave $1. So whether or not you're trading options or whatever it happens to be, this is the trade, man. And there it goes, straight there, right up to the upside. Amazon, $4. Nvidia, huge. This is what trading is all about. So make that money and hopefully be able to, you know, come back tomorrow even stronger, bigger, better, stronger, right? So good trades there. We'll wait. 337 right now. Can Nvidia get lifted even higher? I don't know. But we got out there, and remember where our stop is, right into here if that winds up happening. 115.79 for an out right there. So let's go and see where we can go on this one. That would be my last trade of the day. Amazon's coming out if it breaks 183. But we're right at 183.50, and we did the work here. We were like, well, where can we go for this? We don't think we're actually going to get this high, right? And it was right into there. Whoopsies. I don't know, maybe a bad print there. 183.50. We just looked at this candle from July 30th and thought maybe we could get back to there. And that's exactly what we did. So we have a stop now in for 50 cents lower. Yeah, the 50 does like 170, maybe it's 180 about. We had Amazon embarrassingly long today at 178. The problem is it fell down through that level. So there it goes, and yeah, 176, and then there's this is not even any kind of a technical break. This is just that little wick right there. We saw it there, and it was riding the 50 period. So yeah, man, that's what trading's all about now. 40 cents in the money on Nvidia, 430 on Amazon.
So I just jumped out, and it's interesting that I'm surprised that AMD's going further, to be honest with you. It broke 149. I got out in front of 149. I look up. It's at the 149 target area, and Nvidia is pulling back off the highs. Now remember, when I'm buying a 148 level, This was when NVIDIA was already going. Like, you're getting a consolidation in AMD when NVIDIA's already gone. To me, it's like, okay, well, if AMD holds 148, it's just going to follow along. So it's weird to me that it's pressing higher when you're getting a little bit of a dip in NVIDIA. But this might be the last one. It does not get, it does not get tripped up at the 149 level. The other thing about AMD to consider is, it's getting really darn close to its 50 period moving average on the daily. And I feel like this is going to be a popular one for the rest of the week here, the 150 level on AMD. Technically, the 50 period is a little bit higher than $150. It's like 150 and a half. When you look at a daily chart, like a 50 period on a daily or like a 200 period, like that's just as a line on a daily chart. It doesn't mean you want to execute trades as a day trader at that price level. What it would mean, it's like a resistance area, where I'd want it clearing out above that, like 151 would be a much better break for me in a general sense, and you'd want to be long before you ever got to that level. So that 150-50, again, it's just a line in a chart, but I think psychologically it's a good one if if AMD is gonna get back above it, because truth be told, yeah, AMD's up 4% today, but that daily chart looks distinctly different from NVIDIA's. I mean, pull up any chip name recently. Micron's chart, SMCI, there's just exceptions like NVIDIA maybe, but you can even look at something like a Broadcom, which, not to take anything away from the day that they're having, but when you look at this sort of since the split, like it's trying to break out of a bit of a downward trend. Maybe it's about to do so. I like what's happening over in tech. Still surprised that AMD's holding that high. It's back above that 149. I don't know if there's time to buy a dip in that one, but I don't want to be short this unless it's that failing that 50 period on the daily, which I'm not sure it's even going to do so when it gets there. We might have one more shot at a dip buy and a consolidation, but it's 341, so that's seeming a little bit less likely. That CNEY going well. Rivian Millionaire just said AMAT. Yeah, AMAT's probably another example of in the chip sector. They're not really a chip name. They just make the machines that make the chips.
I see Tesla again, another fake break there. I was just going over to that name. I know you're in on that one and now out as Tesla. Yeah, I like the stock here, but way too choppy, man, the last half hour. So looks like the market might want to fall in here into the close with only a couple more minutes left. So I'm going to stay away from Tesla. If anything, I think it's a break down right now, not long for Tesla, breaking through this 226.50 back down to the downside right now for that name. We are just minutes away from only taking 25 cents on the last piece of Nvidia, which is fine. Our stop, actually, hold on a second. I said for it to get out of half of what we have left. Now it's everything. So 115. Let's go 69er right there. Get out if it breaks there. So I had that. You have a setting there. You can get it at 75%, 100%, 25%, 50% of your position. So we will put now 100%. We only had half, but then we got filled up there at 116.40. So that turns out to be good. Amazon, for some strange reason, continuing to hold those great levels. So hopefully that will be the case for a minute as well. And we'll be able to hold that bid. Palantir, let's have a quick check on that one. Oh, I didn't trade it today. Okay. I was looking at my blotter to click on it. You can click on a name in your blotter and quickly get that. I know you were looking at
You have to link the chart.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, no, but I didn't even trade it. So right there, I know that there was that high there, 34.87, not involved. Yeah, this looks like a great one. Let's see this tomorrow. We'll be back in the saddle again, obviously. 34.40 right there. We'll see if that can hold at some point there tomorrow. I mean, it's right in here right now. That'll be interesting if that can open up near there tomorrow, PLTR. Here comes Nvidia. We are getting ready to get stopped out. Hands off of this trade. If it comes back in, it comes back in. And that will put a wrap on a big, big day for Nvidia. We'll leave it at that. And again, if you want to look for some information, it's at TraderTV both on Instagram and on X. And you can get sort of my trade ideas. And there it goes. So we're not going to flush anything down. We're just going to do this. Ending our trading now on Nvidia. And very, very happy with our day there as we just called that play. And I hope that you were able to take a little bit of an advantage on that one. It's now 343. Our out on Amazon is 183. So that's coming in now as well as the market bleeds back down just a little bit. But we didn't make any mistakes. We held things for great highs and were able to get out on those highs and then get out on that last 10% there. Other than that, we'll sacrifice a little bit on Amazon, but I feel pretty good about picking up that 183.50 level on the daily. So we're getting better at picking levels. We're getting better every day. So there it goes. This is going to be hopefully a good close with only 15 minutes left. We'll see how these imbalances hold out.
There was nothing on the early
earnings, is there?
It's a pretty quiet earnings aftermarket, but we do have Chris Brecher, who I know we talked about the solar names this morning, and some of the boys traded them on the floor. I know here it was the subject. When I was doing my exercises, they were actually doing their Zoom meeting on the floor, so I actually got to listen to it because I do my sort of ankle exercises, or not really ankle, it's Achilles and ankle, up at the bridge. But for earnings, it's a very, very light day. I'm just trying to refresh the page in here. You don't have anything particularly big after the close. This morning, probably the one that we ignored was like designer brands, which actually did move quite a bit. So it's pretty much nothing. Like Place was a big one in the morning as well. But after the close, you've got like really tiny ones like OXM is the biggest name. It's a $1.3 billion company. I was just trying to figure out what the heck was going on and why U.S. Steel was up 8% and trending higher. I haven't figured it out. Maybe it's something we can talk about in the aftermarket show. I have no idea why that's going up so much. I saw nothing as to why that deal, which everyone thought was done, would be kind of getting some energy today. But let's go to Adair at the desk for imbalances.
Here's the move here on, we have ex-U.S. Steel at high of days. We just have this coming out here from Nikkei Asia, basically saying that Nippon Steel has been publishing its exchanges with its union with regards to the U.S. Steel deal, saying that there's been some mischaracterizations of this deal here. This one continued to trend higher, even though earlier today we did have a headline here from Reuters citing a letter to the Treasury, some business groups raising concerns over the U.S. review of the Nippon plan, saying that it's used to be furthering some political agendas. So more updates with this ongoing U.S. Steel, Nippon Steel deal here. The stock, though, pushing higher and getting a few volume pops as we head into close.
Darren, it's what's weird is that, like that hit our wire a couple of minutes ago, but this move started at 3 o'clock. Which is strange. So it's nowhere near the actual deal price, but looking a little better than it did, obviously, yesterday. And I think it's probably going to be a tradable name tomorrow. I still feel like you want to look for places to fade that in a general sense, but for now, it's looking relatively strong. I just want to go back over. No, you're not getting any dips back in on AMD. It just kind of continues to push higher. So this one might have gotten away from us, unfortunately. It broke that 149 at the time. Nvidia was pulling back in, and it got to that high. Got to the even though it goes 48 to 49. Nvidia pulls back, and Nvidia was leading it the entire way. So you kind of feel like that's a relationship that will continue. But that 150 seems like it's going to be in play for sure. Let's see if it gets there. Hog Rider, I guess you're still in. You wanted to get to that 150, that 50 period on the daily. I think it's got every chance to do so. We'll see what happens with the imbalances at 350. The only fear I'd have is on a big up day, you get some profit taking. And like if there's a sell, I don't think AMD is going to have sell imbalance, but Nvidia might. And if Nvidia has a sell imbalance, I think AMD goes down. And if I was still in it, I'd be taking profit. I'd have a nice tight stop going into these imbalances in about 2.5 minutes. For sure. So, yeah, I might have got bamboozled up at that top apple fritter. But the chips have been pretty strong today, whether it's NVIDIA, AMD, ARM, AVGO had a good day. Haven't checked Marvell. Even Intel's up on a day like today. I'm assuming Micron probably had a good day. But anything can happen just because they're going up now. In 2 minutes, if NVIDIA has a sell imbalance, I think there's going to be some profit taking. That's what I'll be looking at here in the locator.
Yeah, we had too much profit taking ourselves there on Nvidia, so unfortunately it did drop down into that. We showed it to you live, and we can't trade the way we do without having stops. So unfortunately we did get triggered out there. It's too bad because it was only 10%, so it's not a big deal, and that's why it was only 10%. So we did have that stop in there. It did break lower, obviously, as Nvidia comes back up into its high of the day again. We do look a little bit foolish for getting out right there, but that was okay. We should have just respected the 50-period MA there, but we did not, and that would have been a good idea to do that. So, all right, we'll just continue to watch it. I would love for this name to continue to go higher into the close for everybody that is long NVIDIA. So hopefully that is you, and you'll be able to capture some of that profit live on the show, which would be nice. All right, so the futures and the imbalances are about to come out. I was looking at Disney here. Today. They had some bad, that Nippon Steel there, we did sort of talk about that, so that was why. Trading higher, Brian Nickel there, Starbucks today on the strategy and vision, so that was important. $88. We just got a note here, I guess approaching the 50 period for Disney, still down on the day. I wanted to sort of see what this name was doing, but it is down. So we'll wait to see if Disney can get going a little bit off of those levels. I do not like this stock. This would be one that I would be selling, of course. Microsoft, we were long at 411 earlier on, right there. But again, this is why, like, it'll be a red stock for me today. Long 411 out, long 411 25 out, in 411 410 75, 50 cents worth of a hit. Does go down into 409, but now it's $10 upside. I mean, what isn't right now? As everything going higher. Google's not really doing much. We wrote down today earlier this 150.50 level, so we took it. We had to average into it before it slipped up. So Google will actually be a red stock for us today as well. So this is what I mean, man. It's not, those of you that are like trading's easy, it is not. And you know, you will have some hits coming through more often than not. So, you know, but stay with it. You'll find your good spot for sure. All right, Amazon continues to go higher here. And again, let's just see where we go. Intel with the sell. Amazon with a buy up to 183.50. We like it, baby. There it goes. Monster move up, 183.50. It's 450 now for us on Amazon. AMD's a sell to the downside. You do not see Nvidia
Don't
on
see
here.
it at all, no.
But Amazon, we might as well just get out and then just sort of have ourselves a day on there. So there it is. We'll see if we can get this. Just to add it up, we've probably taken $15 or $20 on some of these trades today. There it is, out of Amazon. Spin it. Finish the day off very well with those last couple trades. So Amazon $4. We took that at 1 o'clock. That was a good one to end the end of the day there. And then Nvidia really made them sing all day. Nice move to the upside. Wow, up 7.5%. The fact that we had 107.80s down there, quite the day indeed for Nvidia shareholders. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. And I guess the moment to sell a U.S. Steel was exactly when we brought the story.
Oh,
wow.
really?
It's eerie. That stock just, again, I would never endorse buying parabolic highs when the news was out like for 15, 20 minutes already, but that was nasty. So that's not, those imbalances were nothing. There's no trade to be had when AMD at 900,000 was the biggest imbalance. Intel's is not relevant when the stock is that cheap. It might be over $1 million, but it's an $18, sorry, check that. It's a $19 stock, so it's not a big notional amount. AMD ends up doing almost nothing, bit of a pullback off that 150. But yeah, kind of nothing burgers, although that was weird. Now Nvidia is there for $2 million to buy. That wasn't there before, now it is. So I feel like this has been happening a few times here on Nvidia where you wait a minute or so and then there's no balance and then all of a sudden they decide to throw it in a little bit later. But 2 million is not going to move the needle. 13 million is already paired off and Nvidia's done, I don't know, I'm going to pull it up now. Let's just guess about 350 million. I have no idea. 385 million. I just know it usually does 350 to 400 before we get into the close. So it's a very, very muted imbalance and muted number in there. I don't see any trades going into this. We'll just have to take what we got on the chip names to the upside. This is what I meant about U.S. Steel. Like we were just talking about it at that high, and it pulls back. I'm still bearish on this deal happening because you're in an election cycle where I feel like both sides agree that they don't like this deal. You know, what are you going to do? Like no matter who wins the election, they don't like this. They don't like the Nippon deal. So I think that bears not well for the stock in a general sense, but it needs negative catalysts to be a short. And you can't just short it anywhere. But I'll be looking for maybe some fades on this going into tomorrow. Only about 6 minutes to go in there. Is there anything you want us to look at right at the end of the day? I did pull those orders on Lucid because it didn't do anything. But yeah, I mean, it went right up, printed 4, and is at 396. So technically speaking, I guess if you hang on to it, it would have been a win. But there wasn't time for it to do a big retracement. And that's sort of the reason to get away from it. You know, if it's not going to do the bigger move, I don't think it's necessarily worth it. Maybe it's a tomorrow thing to play the $4 level. Adara.
We have Microsoft and Wash here pushing into new high of days as we head into the close. OpenAI, which Microsoft has backed here, is apparently discussing raising funds with a $150 billion valuation that's reported by Bloomberg. Exactly 2 weeks ago, August 28th, we had Wall Street Journal reporting that their new funding round for OpenAI would be around $100 billion. Now, Bloomberg reporting $150 billion valuation for the new funding round for MSFT-backed OpenAI, guys.
Give Sam Altman his money. Where's that $7 trillion when you need it? You want to know who has cash? You want to hear a crazy cash story? I don't think we put any new trades on, but Warren Buffett, they've been selling a lot of stuff. Berkshire Hathaway, not Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. Yeah. But they've been selling a lot of stuff. They have enough cash on hand to buy at market value. They couldn't actually do this. They could buy at current market value every single NFL franchise. Every single one of them, and still have a few billion left over, which is insane, the pile they're sitting on. So when you're in a bull market, I mean, it's almost like you have this support that if things get at good values, Warren's going to start buying good things if they get to good values, and that kind of gives you some support. And that buy the dip mentality is still there. There's a lot of people that have raised cash and are just jumping in when we get these good dipping opportunities. There's been a lot of questions about SoFi. Unfortunately, SoFi is not doing anything today. That's not trying to ignore it, but I'm disappointed in this stock. It's up 3%, but that failed the $8 break in a big way. If you come to the daily chart, only because it was asked a couple times today about SoFi, and every time I look at this stock, I'm like, wake me up when it holds the $8 level. And it does not hold the $8 level. It cannot hold the $8 level. At some point it's going to, and I think that's when it's a little bit more of a bullish look for me on the daily. I would rather not try to pick a bottom on this and be getting it when it's trying to break out to the upside. What a move. AMD did eventually get to $150. So there it is. 150 on advanced micro devices, and the market's at fresh highs. The ES through tops, the NASDAQ 2% to the upside. Everything is absolutely churning. Whether it's Nvidia, whether it's even Tesla's back up at the high of the day and breaking again, ARM, AMD, pretty much everything is off those tops. That's why it's not impressive to look at something like SoFi. If you're not at the highs today, you're not that good of a stock, really. I'm going to get mosey on up to the desk. We got Chris Brecher after market, and we'll be talking about some of the solar names, which had a fantastic day as well after the debate. Although, not as good a day for DJT after the debate. We'll mosey on up to the desk. We got Chris Brecher. Not much in the way of earnings. Just means we have more time to go through your questions at the desk.
All right, good luck there with Mr. Brecher. And of course, wow, Amazon's up another $1. We took $4.50 on it. Or $4.50, yeah. And then now it's up another one. We're long at $179. Look at this name. Just continue to go. This is where we bought. This is, these are real trades. And then obviously if you look at Nvidia, wow, Fabian, this one's at 117. We just bought 115, got out on that dip. Our best out is 116.40, and that's looking silly as well. A lot of ways right there to trade this name today, but long was the right way since noon. Just straight up, really held the 50-period moving average. Just overall good on good here today. Bad trade was JP. Well, JP Morgan, we're going to be red on it, but we're pretty flat on it considering what we're doing on other stocks. But JP Morgan, we had that 107. It came back into 206.35s. We only had 206, 107. 206.75. Only our best trade was only 40 cents before eventually losing the top there and getting out. It did fall back in. I'm glad I didn't see that. I would have been mad. But with only 2.5 minutes left now, I just want to thank everybody for coming through again one more time. We have a game tonight, another playoff game for Hyde Park, so that should be a lot of fun. We're really excited to do that. But yeah, wow, what a good way to do it. ERI. Thank you for your posts. Yeah, that's right. He was talking something about sheep's milk or something. Good call on that one. 207.50. JP Morgan going to close out at the high. All right, look right here for Nvidia is closing out at the high as well. 117. This name up 8+% today and still going. No, I did not Rivian Millionaire, but if you ask Obi back there, I was talking about buying some JP Morgan yesterday and did not do that, and we should have. Palantir today, a nothing burger for me. 35 tomorrow break. Let's go. That could be definitely a good one there. As the NASDAQ's going to close out at 2.25%. Every single person, I don't have a problem giving my opinion, obviously. I mean, you guys have been watching me for a minute. I've been saying that I thought it was overdone, that move to the downside, and there was too many people that piled on to, oh my God, September is such a bad month. we've sort of rebounded a little bit now. I don't want to jinx this month at all, but I'm still going to play with rate cuts heading up. We're going to wait for some more, news or whatever on exactly rate cuts and the market reactions to said rate cuts, because wow, Nvidia 1.7. The thing about trading is, if you trade the right names, we have the sticky note here today. We have Nvidia 110 long written on here, and we had that stock twice. So that's all you got to do, man. You just got to have really 1 or 2 good trades on, and that lifts you the rest of the day. So, yeah, I'll look at a bunch of names tomorrow. I just got to make sure all my scripts are now finished. Ooh, I have some. That's funny, man. I have some bids on Amazon at 178.50 that didn't fill. Nvidia closing out at the high right now, 117.20. Our last trade was hammering the long at 115.50, and we did that. So that's $1.50 for you at the end of the day. Talk about a print factory. Whoopsies, wrong one again. That's roll call. Here we go with the countdown now on. Yep, this looks like it'll be right with only 5 now. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now we are closed, putting a bow on this day. Wrap it up. Good little day today for us as we take out Benzinga out of our ear. Yeah, there might be some paparazzi at High Park. If you see me there, I will smile. Hi to the paparazzi. Hopefully you post it up on social media and we'll get a few more followers. Thank you so much for watching. It's just now 4 o'clock. Fabian, we good to go? I ripped the thing out of my ear there. We are good to go. All right, without any further ado, it's Brecher Ledge time with Neil and Chris Brecher and your market recap.
Welcome to the market recap. Yeah, the Brecher Ledge is back on the bid. We're going to have Chris to be able to talk about that. Was an awesome trade to the short side if you had it last week, but this week is this week, and it's a whole lot different because the market green pretty much across the board. It was a strong reversion back in here. Look, it was a story of we got that CPI number early on. There was an early break. It was a trap breakout. They sold it off, and then they V-shaped it and took out the top to that upside. So they did try to trap some people on that CPI print. We had a lot going on overnight as well. We had the presidential debates. That triggered a few moves. You had DJT moving into the upside, the downside. You had the crypto names moving to the downside because there was a lack of any discussion about that from the Dem side. And unfortunately, they were able to move down, and then fortunately, they were able to get back into the upside. A little bit of a bounce on DJT as well near the end of the day. Unfortunately, just still ending up double digits on DJT if you're into that one. But there was also the solar name, and we're going to get to that because when you look at the board here, when you have the SMH is up 5% today, which it's more significant that the SMH is up 5% than TAN is up 6% or that uranium is up 5%, right? Because semiconductors are everything nowadays. You can't do anything without them. So it's a bigger deal. That said, there were some awesome opportunities in solar land. It's not just to Q's up that 2 points. On a day like today, ARK is going to do really, really well. Let's be real about it. A high risk name. They got a 2% move into the upside. Even natural gas had a good day. What's interesting to me is we continue to see weakness in the energy names. So there was a build on the oil numbers. Sean mentioned when that dropped this morning, and you are still seeing this downward trend on energy. So when you draw the lines in here, it's such a clean downtrend here, making lower lows, lower highs on energy. It hasn't broken the channel, but every single time it goes to the top of a channel, all that's happening is it's rejecting. Sometimes it looks like it's breaking out, but then it's kind of connected here. Like it looks like it's breaking out, and then it fails. Looks like it's breaking out, and then it fails again. So you're getting fail breaks to the top of the channel, trapping longs in energy, but then we retest the bottom. Good news is, if you look at where this loosely connects, it's trying to bounce off the bottom, but certainly a lot of weakness in the energy names. And this ended up working out across the board. Like you could look at XOM, which had been incredibly strong. XOM was the best looking of the oil names, and it just lost on the daily chart, the 200 period moving average. Held on to support at 108, so that's a good look there. Managed to hold on to that local bottom here in the middle of July. But yeah, not very good for energy names. Like I said, it's a strong day across the board, but not everything was able to get to that upside. Kind of moving along, we talked about the Brecher ledge, and we're going to have Chris Brecher from Simpler Trading. And if you missed out when he mentioned this last week, it was the 50-period moving average on the SPY and what happens when it breaks down underneath it. You can see on the daily chart what happened. It was a flush down into 540. It was a pretty clean move, almost $10 to the downside, but now we're back above it. As quickly as we came down, you spend a couple of days underneath. The dip buyers got cash on hand. They pile that cash back in, and we're back above that 50 period and looking like we're just going to trend right back into some of those highs. So it's a pretty impressive rally here. Only 1 point for the SPY. And you can understand why the SPY is not going to be as strong as the NASDAQ. I mean, it wasn't as big of a day for the financials. It wasn't that great day for all of energy. So certainly it was a tech-driven move. And that's why the Qs did so absolutely well. Neo Rob in the chat, a bump for Oxy, you say? No, I did not say that. Neo Rob in the chat. So not Neo Roberts. Is this the same... Neo Rob, are you Neo Roberts from the chat previously? Or is this someone completely new? I am curious about that because we've seen that. My name, Neo Roberts. I thought that was always fun because we talk about Neo. And anytime someone mentions Neo, I'm like, somebody calling me? Because it sounds too much like my name. No, Oxy ain't bouncing. Oxy, to me, I thought this was the easiest out because I'd been playing the 55 level in my personal account, not day trading. Can't remember the last time I day traded the stock, to be honest with you guys. But it was every time it would get to the 55 level, I was able to play it successfully twice in here and then in here. But when it lost, I played it a third time when it looked like it was bouncing, but it broke 54, it just jumped out of it. Now it's testing 50. That support on Oxy has been here for 2 years. For 2 years, you held that support line. And it was only ever a swing trade. Like you were getting 20% on it, while if you were holding it long enough to get a dividend, you get a little bit more than that. But you're getting like 20% moves, 15% moves on Oxy. Now you lose the shelf. You got to wait for it to establish a level as far as I'm concerned. So Neo Rob changing the name so that we don't get too confused. I think that's awesome. Neo Rob, shout out to you there. Let's see what happens. Piccolo-san just said Neo to the moon. I'm going to do a mea culpa here. Mea culpa? Coppola? I don't know. Whatever. However you say it, it doesn't really matter. You guys know what I'm talking about. No, we didn't talk about Neo enough today. And I feel like it's only up a point, but it is continuing its march. And what's weird about this breakout is we basically took it once after the earnings break and then kind of didn't trade it again. We had one good day on it and just kind of let it go to the wayside. But you know what? We say this all the time. Don't try to catch bottoms. Get involved in moves off the bottom. And this is a prime example of that. If you've been trying to pick a low on NIO, kind of rhymes there, not too bad. You've been getting bled every time it looked like it made a nice bottoming pattern. But if you let it break out, like here, you let it try to break out, it takes a 50 period, you would have at least had a winning trade in the 200 period. And then if you hold some for the dream, you get out break even. It fails to hold the 50 period again. But again, if you try to get it after the 50 period break, at least you're in a winner and then you can stop out break even. This time on earnings, it breaks 50 to the 200. What's interesting here is that it's a chance to hold the 200 period moving average on NIO. If it can consolidate here in this 550 range above the 200 period moving average, next move is into $6 resistance. That's what's setting up here on NIO, only 1% today. But there is nothing wrong in an up move with a consolidative pattern. Sometimes it needs to do that. The stock needs to go sideways for a bit before it can go higher. I think that's what Oracle might be trying to do here as well as we talk about this in the wild. And Oracle, this is a perfect example, only up 1 point today. When you have the earnings, which were the unbelievable reaction, up 11%, after only moving a couple of points. Remember when we were on the aftermarket show a couple of days ago, and I'm like, if Oracle can hold that 146 prior high, then it should be a runner, but it's not going yet. It's not going yet. It just did not want to go that day. If I pop out the 15-minute chart for everybody, it wouldn't hold, it wouldn't go, it wouldn't go. What ends up happening, it goes a little bit later on in the aftermarket, does the dip and rip, then today goes right into the same bottom, bounces but can't break out the top when the market's taking a high after high after high. All that tells me is that you're at a fresh top, there's profit takers up here for Oracle, and it's in a consolidative phase. So if you're in this one, I wouldn't be worried unless it tries to fill in the gap. Let it try to hold that 155 level. The longer it holds it with a consolidation, the better the breakout is when it eventually comes. And shout out to you, Piccolo-san. Love the chart analysis. Thanks. Thank you for tuning in there, Piccolo. Thank everybody for tuning in. We're going to have Chris come on in just a few minutes or so, and we'll get into some trader talk. But when you're a trader, chart analysis is all you're going to do. You know, like I came in today and going over like AMD to me was a missed opportunity because I had the level I liked the best on AMD, 143.5, and it broke it in the pre-market. I do not like to take breakout trades in the pre-market on a key economic number. Like if there's a number at 8:30 and then before we get to the open, I'm taking a breakout trade without seeing the money come in at 9:30, I don't like the trade. But the first name on my note was 143.50 on AMD, 143.50, 143.50, 143.50. So when it came in the morning here, and we got 8:30 number dip, and then it grip and ripped it here for the breakout at 9 o'clock going into the open, I didn't have it. It was a level break, and I probably should have, but all that's hindsight. You have to follow your rules. Like the way I look at it is, if I have a rule that has served me well to protect me from chasing exuberance after an 8:30 number in either direction, then I know deep down that while that one worked today, over enough time, that's just not a breakout that I'm in love with. And not having it does kind of stink. We're able to get a late move on it from 148 to 149. Even then, got out of that one too early because it went to 150. So, we're looking longs today on AMD. It just didn't quite get us that home run opportunity. Had to try some small scalp trades, unfortunately, for advanced micro devices. Do like what's going on there. Alex L pointing out that ride stock. Yeah, this thing, there's, you know what, I could make some puns about ride here, but no. It's when you're down 75%, I don't even want to joke about it, so I'm not going to joke. I didn't have them as reporting, and I haven't seen anything on the wire. I'm going to see if I can find something on Benzing for you guys or on Twitter, because this is one that was on a bit of a churn. If I had to guess without checking, it might actually, it would seem like it would be it looks like it would just be an offering, but even 77% down seems like a little bit too much for a ride. Man, that is nasty, nasty, nasty. I'm going to say no puns at all. A lot of people talking about Nvidia as well, so we're going to go to Chris in 1 second. I mean, I can't bring up AMD without bringing up Nvidia. Nvidia right back in to the 50-period moving average on the daily, into 117 even. For myself, like I recently bought a 108, but I think it's very different from the reasons that a lot of other people would have. I like trend lines. So let me just do this quickly before we go to Chris. There is your August 6th bottom. Then it made essentially another higher low, and then you get a consolidation off a higher low and a break of the top. Right, so it didn't do much yesterday, to be honest with you. I sold, when it made this break, my PA, like I said, 109 because it was breaking here, but then also deciding I wanted to sell some Uber, and it looks like that was even a bad decision. Even though at the time it looked like a good decision to sell Uber yesterday when I'm sitting in bed sick, but Uber even looking pretty good. But Nvidia, higher lows, and then a breakout of local top here at 108, 109. So I was able to add some. I don't know if I'll take any profit until it gets up to 129, 130. But you know what? Because I see he's ready. And I've been purposefully, you'll notice, I haven't said a word about TAN here. TAN is sitting out there with like the number one ETF up today. And I'm not saying a word about the solar names because we got Trader Talk and we have the man who had it today, Chris Retcher. It didn't work, my button, Trader Talk. Oh no. Try it again. No, my stream deck fails.
How you doing?
How's it going, Chris? I like when we have the whole intro. It's like I say it, and then we boom, Trader Talk, and the news comes out in there, and then we have a more flashy entry to bring you on here, Chris. But I don't think we need much of a flashy entry because A, you had the solar names long today, and B, that's a great looking shirt, Chris.
That's my hummingbird shirt. One of my hobbies is we have a lot of photographing hummingbirds. We have like 20 on our deck, and they like flowery shirts. That way they come and land on your hand and all this stuff, and it's easier to photograph them. So I thought I'd wear one of my conservative shirts for you.
Well, fair enough. It looks fantastic. I'll say this much. When I was my dad was always into, he loved Alfred Hitchcock. He loved the Bond movies and like all the Hitchcocks we had to watch. We watched all the Bond movies when I was a kid. But I watched the birds when I was young. I'm not a bird fan at all. I'll be honest. I mean, ain't no bird lighting on my shoulder because I was really, really young when I watched that movie. It's not so scary when you're an adult, but trust me, that issue is scary when you're like a 6-year-old, to be honest. But let's talk a little bit about TAN because, well, maybe not TAN particularly, but let's talk about the solar names and get right down to brass tacks. Because these have been the weakest sector. If we're talking about sectors, I don't think there has been a worse one. So in terms of opportunity, when they do make a bit of a bounce, as they did here today, there probably weren't better ones to look at. And yes, the chip names paid out today. I'm not going to be mad at anybody who just played the chip names and did the regular thing like we usually do here on our show. But I'm glad that you were on this because there were some bangers to be had, Chris, in the solar space today.
Yeah, the thing is, I know everybody talks about the debate, who won, who lost, all this, but it's really how traders interpret it. And I've been seeing that with First Solar, when Trump was leading in the polls, First Solar got destroyed. When Harris went in instead of Biden, then First Solar went up. And now First Solar, not only was it near weekly support, but it just seemed like if anything was leaning positive, that would go nuts. And so that's why we came in long the solar stocks. But you also saw it with other things, XPI way up because people, I'm not saying it's right or not, but they're interpreting that XPI goes up because of the results of some, political news. The same with the chips. The chips went up because people are less worried about tariffs or they perceive that today. Maybe tomorrow's different. But that's why we were looking at First Solar, that not only was it near support, but also just politically, they had overdone it to the downside. So to me, let's say here they got destroyed because of, the polls. And then it went the other way because of the other polls. Well, it seemed like at the minimum, it should go to the midpoint. So that's where it went. So right. Pretty exciting.
No, it doesn't technically get any better than that. I think a lot of times, it's always nice when you get a long off a support level or the thesis works and you get a great win on it or it goes to move. But it's always pretty sweet when technically it just carries all the way through to the resistance level where you can just, where it's trying to get to, that 240 area on the daily chart there. And, when it's able to carry through, you're just super happy about it, that it went the entire way. Now, what's interesting about this, when I pull it up on a 3-minute chart, I want to get your opinion on this because there's a trade that usually I'm into in the middle of the day, and I wasn't looking at these solar names. Like I've got to ask you, when you have a move like this and it pulls back in and holds on to a VWAP the way that it does from about 1 o'clock or so, like look at the reaction back into the high was juicy, and the pullback when it tagged VWAP and made that low was like $230. So it breaks out, and the symmetry on this is ridiculous, Chris, because it broke out just before 10 o'clock at 220. Then you pull back into 230, and the resistance on the daily was at 240. I can't remember the last time something from it's almost too easy. Like I'm kicking myself for not looking at that. You could have just said, 220 to 240 is the range, pulls back into 230 at the middle of the day, go long in front of 230, instead of stop it at 229.99 and then just don't even look at it, offer in front of 240 and make your $10. That's ridiculous. Were you playing this for the entire day and some pullbacks? Like, what were you guys doing over there? Or were you just kind of holding on and counting the money?
We had spreads above the market. So we just let them go
let it ride.
Or good gains, but not home runs. We didn't go for the home runs. We went for the good gains, but I'll tell you, this is a perfect example of where I don't believe in negative divergence. Look down here at the MACD and look what would have happened if you said, oh, it's not you, but I mean, if you thought negative divergence is you're going down, I just don't use negative divergence very often. And as you see, it definitely had that self-fulfilling prophecy to 240.
Yeah.
If it had negative divergence and let's say, a bearish chart, that's different. But it looked great all day. The key to me wasn't so much the one you're talking about. It was the 1 minute chart early. It's really hard to buy on the way up. But I mean, after it gapped up 8 points, but there's your bull flag. And that was a quick 8 points. So maybe you miss in here, but boy, you make that 8 points really quick.
Yeah, I mean, certainly you don't need, and that's the point. Like, you can see that chop up where it tests the pre-market low. Everybody always a lot of people, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people always want that dip. So like, if I can, like, there's your pre-market bottom. It's like, if I can get this dip right at the open. I've been there, man, like Palantir. I've done it on Alibaba, where it's like, oh, that if you like it for the long, you're like, I want that bottom, got to get that bottom. The problem is, if you get chopped up down there and expend your capital getting chopped up down at the low, then you might, like, either if you shut yourself down, which to me, I never do, but even if you just lose a few times down there, you're not going to have as much conviction sometimes to take that breakout trade where everything is a little bit more certain. So I appreciate the explanation. You're getting a lot of love in the chat for explaining that trade and like why it was so important to look at. Now I don't know if you still have that chart up for the negative divergence, Chris.
Yeah, let me get that up for you.
So this is not something that I've looked at, but there is a former trader who was a friend and would say that a lot of times when you get that negative divergence set up, and see where you're going into, like that prior resistance, essentially, and it's pulling back up prior resistance. That's trapping shorts based on a resistance level, and then also the negative diversions looking for that mean reversion. And then when those shorts have their stop broken, ends up being a good long entry. And it's always fun that if there's like if there's a technical theory behind a trade that lines up with like a support or resistance level that shorters can then take advantage of in this particular case against an upward trend, well, sometimes that makes the break of the top a really good scalp trade because...
Well, here's another one for you in a perfect example. Number one, you're definitely right about not looking at this bottom here. In fact, the only bottoms I'm allowed to look at are my wife's. So just to let you know. But yeah, it would be...
Well said.
It would be easy to say you buy here. But the problem is you don't know if it's going there, and that was an positive reaction to the debate. So I like buying on the way up. But I want to show you exactly what you're talking about. What happens if somebody thought that was a bear flag? So there you go with everybody trying to think it's a bear flag, and once it got above it, it just exploded, which is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. You still have me choking up over that one, which you just got to be honest. If I ask, how long you been married?
Like 3 days. No, it'll be 30 years. It'll be 30 years coming up. And I was a day trader when she met me, and I'm still a day trader, and she's still married to me. And she calls me Tinkerbell also, so because I'm always so excited about the market. So that was my nickname on the floor.
There you go. That's 30 years is fantastic. Hats off to you. I hope to get there. And you know what? Actually, it's odd because for me it'll be 10 years actually, come November, and then so I want 20 more so I can catch you there, and then you'll be at 50, which is amazing there. And what I love about the analysis of an FSLR. What's great about this trade, Chris, is that whether you're looking at playing it in options, whether you're going to buy and hold the entire day, if you're a scalp trader, this is the type of trade you can be on pretty much the entire way to the upside. And when you've got a good trend, sometimes the places to add are where the shorts get a little bit confident. Now, did you look at any of the other names there? Because I was talking to some people today on our floor about, like, SolarEdge had an 8% move. And when I look at this one compared to the others, now I'm not showing you the daily chart for the obvious reasons why it maybe didn't continue to go as much as some of the other ones. And let me zoom this. Can I zoom this out? There we go. Like this really sort of failed a little bit. Now, you liked First Solar for obvious reasons, but this one's a bit of a dog. And I think this says the importance of predetermining, if you've got a thesis in a sector, know which stock you're going to play. Because it was not so simple as, oh, they're all up, I'll just pick whichever one. And in this particular case, it was obvious why you didn't want to. I think when you look at the daily chart, I think it's pretty obvious why maybe SolarEdge isn't the one that you wanted to go into. I don't know, but you tell me. But picking the right stock to be involved with, because you could have been you could have been looking at Enphase, you could have been looking at SolarEdge. You had First Solar, and that was the best mover. But talk about the importance of finding the right vehicle to trade. Like if you were looking at the chips today, okay, they all won, but I would venture if you had Nvidia and ARM, those were by far the best too. So those should have been the ones that you were focused on. I think, again, today, it's the same thing here, just you need to be in First Solar, and certainly not SolarEdge, although the daily chart's about as nasty as it gets for that stock.
Yeah, that's why if I put this up here for you real quick to show you the support, the weekly support of First Solar. And that was one reason we looked for the initiation on the long side. And then you look at SolarEdge. I mean, it just doesn't have that support or the turn. So we always call it wait for the turn. So at least this is testing the low. At least there's some backstop and you had all that support. So that had a lot to do with it. It's interesting talking about being, my wife being putting up with me for 30 years. I can't tell you how many charts I show and say, you can see that pattern a mile away. And she's like, no, I can't. Find a better example. So that's why the First Solar, to show you those little bull flags, that she'd say, yeah, I see that a mile away. So, if there are certain times that it looks better, sure, you could have stayed in the whole time.
Yeah.
But at least you have those little eddies and flows in here. And that right there, I mean, my goodness, that's 8 points with that bull flag. So if you wait for those identifiable patterns that your significant other might agree with you on, I mean, now at least you're in front of somebody and talking it out loud and saying this. You had a bull flag, and if it broke that, it was going to break the high for the day.
Yes, sir.
So, they're definitely, when you have these big movers, you don't have to get in at the bottom, like you said.
Yeah. I think that's the important thing. There's, it's more important to make money than it is to be right. There's a certain satisfaction when you get the best entry. We're all there. I mean, it happens, and you're really happy when you get the bottom or you get the top of a move. But ultimately, you'd just rather be right more than you are wrong, or be profitable more than when you lose. And I think that means a lot of times getting the confirmation for the A+ setup as opposed to, I think it's the bottom, but really it's like a B- trying to take that trade. Which one do you want to put the capital towards? And it should be to the A+.
Right. And it's the capital. It's also the emotional capital, because if you bought with this arrow, you're buying on the way up, you're a lot more aggressive, and you've deployed your capital timely also. And you're not sweating bullets saying, I hope it turns around. So it's definitely the capital like you're talking about, but it's also emotional capital.
100%. It matters so much. And we were just talking about being married over there. I would have shut out the Piper in our chat. 48 years, he just said. 48 years. So congratulations over there. I wish I could say, like yourself, Chris, before we get you out of here, that I go over charts with my wife. Absolutely not. We have a lot of things in common we enjoy doing together. I will tell you, we'll talk about her business all the time. She's kind of in the insurance game, and I'll find it interesting to learn something about that, because I feel like it kind of helps me sometimes when doing investments, because actually it got me out of Lemonade one time, a very good conversation. When I'd made some money on that, I was going to buy it again. I got away from it from a fundamental standpoint, but she's never into the charts. I try to leave the stock talk away from the dinner table as much as I can. The problem is, on the really, really good days, you just get really excited about a move that happened, and I'll start yapping about it, and she just gives me the... You done
Yeah,
yet? You done yet?
that's I get that also. So definitely, but if it helps the household income, she'll deal with it.
That's exactly right. And you know what? If you've been doing it for 30 years, if you've been trading for 30 years, if you've been married for 30 years, I mean, if you're doing anything for that long, you're doing something absolutely right. So on that note, Chris, I want to thank you so much. I forgot to, oh my goodness, everybody needs to thank Chris for the Bretcher ledge break short, of course, from last week.
Oh, earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could spend an hour with you going over the gaps and how everything followed each other, whether it was the Dow following the NASDAQ. Some other time, I'm happy to go over that anytime you want.
Yeah, I know, and as a funny thing is I mentioned it a couple of times today on the live show, and then I know it's so much more important to talk about the Solar Edge move today because I feel like that move is present, but that was a great call on the Bretcher ledge. I mean, it was fantastic. I've used that phrase pretty much every single day since we had you on to talk about the Bretcher ledge, and now I'm just going to keep saying it over and over and over again until we find the next one. But we got Chris Bretcher here from Simpler Trading. Fantastic job, obviously, with the trading today on the solar names. Love the shirt. Congratulations on 30 years of marriage. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And I love the fact that we come on, we have a little bit of fun. You got a great sense of humor. Everyone in the chat loves you. Thank you so much again, Chris.
Great. I'm actually funnier when they make money. Like, just put it that way.
You know what? Aren't we all? We're all funnier. We're all happier when we're making money, but we're always just happy to have you on when you share your thoughts there. So that's a little trader talk with our good friend, Chris.
Thanks again. All right, bye.
All right, there's our transition. So it's all right. It's already 4:30. I'm really bad about, how long we're supposed to do this technically. It doesn't matter. Oh, really? But now we're not going anywhere. No, that's not how it works, Fabian. Fabian's here. Now Fabian's challenging me. So I do this, and Fabian's like, oh, I could be here all day. You don't want to enter into a staring competition with the West Indian. Because, now I wasn't born in the West Indies, but West Indians are very, very stubborn. And so, trust me when I tell you, to the point where I tore my Achilles, and there's a driver that picks me up every single day because I can't drive. So I shouldn't even be letting the guy wait, but just out of pure spite, I should make this man wait a little bit longer. We got roll call to do. We'll get into this roll call, and I'll try to draw it on a little bit longer here as we thank Chris so much. Fantastic job as a guest, and he always does a great job, but I really want to thank him for going through everything, and we should have talked more about the Bretcher ledge. Next time we have him on, we'll go over that move for sure. Big shout out on the ones and twos to Fabian and Ramin. Big shout out to the entire team, of course, but a big, massive thank you to Bears versus Bulls, the best moderator in the world, not just YouTube, in the entire world. We thank you so much for everything you do, and a big shout out to Royal Dixon, Andrew Chow. We got Hey Davis, Darwin in the chat. What up? Espinoza, Blue Arrow. We got 4XAU. We got Bristol in the chat. Eli 7721. Jay Haas up in the chat as well. Adrian, Apollo Vasquez, Espinoza, Mike Breeze, Julie Beckwith, roll call. Woo! Almog Mazar as well. We got Hey Davis, Neo Rob, Tyler ATX, Valhalla, Moy Cansado, Baron Keela 2020 hookup. What up? I guess my wife is West Indian. I thought she was Puerto Rican. Well, it is what it is, man. I'm not gonna go on about that. I'm just saying West Indians can be really, really stubborn, man. It's just true. It's just true. I'm not trying to make a big deal of it, but it's so true. Apollo Vasquez, the philanthropist Baker, Jai Singh, Sinful Davy, Scott Toomey, Carlos. Oh my goodness, Carlos Consorico Costalano Perez. We got Aura Alpha. We got John Von Sowers, Easy Peasy, Jay Haas again, Don Quixote, Don Flamingo. We got Sinful Davey again, Bala up in the chat, Gecko. CompuCare team says hello from the NYSE, and Piccolo San as well saying what up, crap stocks. Whew. All right, I'm out of breath a little bit here. I'm not gonna lie. I was sick yesterday. Man, I was getting winded doing some ridiculous, I had to go downstairs to go to the laundry room and came back up. I was getting winded doing a flight of steps. So I'm a little bit winded today, but we got the energy to get you guys through the show. And the best thing about all of this, and the best thing about Trader TV Live, and the best thing about the markets is we get to do it all again tomorrow, right? So all you got to do is enjoy the day, enjoy the evening, get plenty of rest, because you're going to be right back here at 8:30 tomorrow morning where we get to do it again. We're going to get some more inflation data. We're going to get some more moves in the chips, and we'll be right here for you through all of it with the trades, the bangers, the commentary, the laughs, the fun. We're Trader TV Live, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye, guys. We go.